Hello everybody and welcome to the SLON Special Edition 2v2 series here today. We've got some big names, we've got some great games, two best of twos for $50 each, best of 7 and a best of 5. We're going to be starting out with the best of 7 on the right hand side of your screen. The Bulgarian Battle, SCV Force, and Nemu, excuse me, versus Voodoo and VXTR. If you guys missed it, we actually casted Voodoo last time we did a 2v2 cast. Isn't that right, Sean?
Yeah, he's been a pretty good teammate in 2v2, and I just call that guy Dexter, by the way. I think that's what it's supposed to abbreviate anyway.
Perfect.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are really good 2v2 players. And then in the best of 5 coming up after the Bulgarian battle, none other than Scan is playing alongside Lei, going up against Ziki, that Hungarian dragon, and Gargoyle. So yeah, we got some really great games today.
Yeah, there's some awesome matchups. I mean, we don't get very many chances to cast 2v2, do we, Sean? It's not been a huge event in Broodwar for a long time. Not since the days of Pro League, way back in the Kespa era, was 2v2 a really massive event. But SLON is bringing it back, and there's still a lot of people out there who enjoy playing it. And I tell you what, it's a lot of fun to watch, guys. We're going to have a great time here casting today. Shun and I had an awesome time in the last one. And so I'm looking forward to some really big, awesome 2v2 battles here today. Like, we saw some crazy strategies in that last one, Sean.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the interesting thing about 2v2. You've got so much more dynamics going on in the early game and positional play. It really does matter who spawns where and what map you're playing on. Kind of opens up Pandora's box for all kinds of craziness to happen, and you need a lot of team chemistry as well as individual skill to, you know, make it through to the finish line in a series like this. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot of exciting games yet again. But yeah, I've not really seen a lot of 2v2 in the StarCraft scene, so we do have to give a bit of a shout out to Flizzardo, tournament organizer. He's done a great job at kind of bringing the 2v2 scene back from behind the curtain and giving you guys a little look in at what's actually still going on. It's just you don't hear about it. These guys have been playing 2v2 a lot for many years. You just don't really see it glamorized or televised in any way, shape, or form. So that's all changing now. So yeah, I used to play a lot of 1v1s with this guy back in the day. He's a nice guy, and I'm glad that he's doing this so we can showcase you guys the other side of StarCraft.
Yeah, a really awesome event. And I know that a lot of you guys have played 2v2, probably just in some random lobbies on ladder. These games are probably going to be a bit different from what you've seen before. There is so much depth to this game that we love. Broodwar has a ton of deeper, insightful, and frankly confusing metas and shifts. But 2v2 is something else, man. Just think about it. All the different matchups that are possible, and a lot of these guys are playing random as well. So you know, there's just so much to know, so much to learn, and we're going to be doing that, getting into this one now, guys. Bulgarian Battle, best of 7, starting off right now.
Let's get it. Alright, spawning here in the top left, playing Terran SCV Force. And his teammate in the top right, on Zerg, Nemu. And they're playing against here, down in the bottom right, on Zerg, Voodoo. And his teammate in the bottom left, on Protoss, Dexter.
All right, sorry for the delay there, guys. Just checking to make sure that the audio is working fine, but it seems like everything is good. And we're ready to jump into this game. Always a problem with audio, Shun. That's the way it is.
I say it ironically, I don't have StarCraft sounds. We didn't do a sound check on StarCraft. I actually don't hear StarCraft sounds.
You don't hear StarCraft sounds? Should I turn it up a little bit? Do you hear anything
I
now?
don't hear anything. We might. I would probably have to restart Discord to get it working. I'm gonna quickly restart my Discord.
No, hold on. Here you go. How's that now? Can you look at the screen?
Hang on. Stream failed to start. Try again. Okay, now I hear it.
Technical difficulties, guys. We're good. Thank goodness there's lots of downtime at the beginning of every StarCraft match. We're all set up here and ready to go.
2v2 at least, anyway, yeah. So it seems like a quick pull and gas coming out of Voodoo. Wants to optimize for map control, and they have got Protoss Zerg versus Terran Zerg. So there's, totally different power spikes that occur. Usually you'll be a little bit more defensive if you are Terran Zerg. Takes a little bit longer for that Terran to come online. He's getting a wall in now with a second barracks by the most common opening in 2v2, but you can go 2-bot raid, can open factory still if you would like. And going for that fast 9-pool gas will allow him to help put some pressure onto one of these guys before the Terran is fully operational. He's actually going to go straight into lair, so he's not actually going for map control here. He's just going to make some links that are going to be slow while optimizing for a muta timing, it seems.
Well, they're just about to find out the plan here from Nemu, who's got the hatchery about to spawn here on the ramp. Was this I think maybe a 9 hatch? I'm not sure exactly what the build was here, but he's got the hatchery out, and so he'll be able to build some sunkens really early on. Now that's super important if you want to be able to hold off both of these players until the Terran starts to come online. You're not going to be able to just build Lings and fight a 9-pool player and a 2 Gateway Zealot player as well. That's just a little bit too much. Right. And so it's kind of a blessing here that the Zealots are going to have to rally so far all the way from bottom left, but it still might be a problem.
Yeah, even these slowlings putting a lot of pressure already onto Nemu. Gets a drone kill, might be able to find a second here. Beautiful drone drilling, denying additional kills actually. I think he only lost 1 drone in total. Might have been a 12 hatch or 11 hatch, not actually a 9 hatch here, looking at the timings. So he did take a bit of economic damage here, but Dexter's already hot on his heels to come in with some Zealots soon as well. Once he gets 3 Zealots up here, he can block the ramp at the bare minimum. Eventually, Nemu will stabilize with a safety sunken on that high ground, but Terran's already moving out with like 4 Marines or so to come and support this. He knows that Nemu might be in a little bit of a bother here. 2 Speedlings gonna slip into the main.
Yeah, this could be a real problem in ZVZ. A couple Speedlings in the main can often spell the death, and it's not just killing drones, but also preventing a little bit of mining time. You can see right here, mining time being slowed down is brutal damage already. Gonna catch these Zealots as they start to return back home. Marines are ahead of the curve. The cannon's not done yet. Can the Marines do anything here against these Speedlings? 4-on-4 is usually a pretty strong fight for the Lings, but he does a pretty decent job with that pull. Drone's gonna come down here to try and hold off. 2 of them end up falling. It's pretty rough when you're this low on drones. Going for a 9-pool early is a very good combo attack. And the cannons are just about done. He's got to buy this time right now. Zealot coming from behind is huge. Going to jump right on top of these Marines. All the Marines are going to fall, and the Lings popping out for Dexter will hold off. Now, when the dust settles, how many drones are left for each of the Zergs? Oh, Overlord actually going to survive there. Thought that might be taking a little bit more damage, but 7 drones to 12 is a bit rough here for blue team.
Yeah, and it also slows down the Spire timing critically. Like, this attack didn't just kill drones. It's going to make it a little bit harder to squeeze out the mutas on time. That will give a few extra precious seconds here for Nemu to maybe start making some spores, because he's only just now going into lair. And I don't think the Terran's going to be able to defend him from those mutas. He kind of needs to get into spores now. We see an evolution chamber already being made, and some creep colonies, but he will still get in here with a couple of mutalisks to kill some drones before those are ready. So even though he did a lot of damage to the economy of Voodoo, it's not enough to slow him down completely. He's actually going to kill quite a lot of drones still.
Yeah, this is bad. He's going to lose quite a few drones. I think a tiny bit of greed here from Nemu, enabling these mutas to get in. He definitely had the money to throw down the Evolution Chamber a little bit faster, but wasn't expecting the Spire to be done that early. Still has 12 drones, though. 12 drones to 8. Definitely a lead in terms of tech here for blue team, but that overall drone count is looking fantastic for Nemu.
Yeah, Nemu might have misread the build. He might have thought it was 9 pull speed into lair and expected the mutas to be, you know, lagging behind by about 20, 30 seconds or so, and he thought he was safe. But either way, he does still remain with a pretty high saturation on those minerals, so he's totally fine. But he's now lost an Overlord, which is going to supply block him, so there's definitely a tech advantage right now that's being exploited for Voodoo. And he has recovered his drone count up to 10 now, so he's fine. Terran and Protoss are going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting in this game, because both Zergs have taken a pretty sizable amount of economic damage already.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation here. We've got DTs on the way for Voodoo. That'll actually allow him a pretty safe expansion if he wants to go for it. You're not going to have a lot of scans here, and the Overlord speed is light years away, so he should be able to get a couple cannons down here and a Nexus up in not too long. Will he try to cannon for his Zerg ally? Actually, Hatchery going down on the high ground is interesting. Not really a lot that red team can do right now, aside from, I guess, SCV Force can push out, but all he needs to do is avoid the scan, right? If he avoids the scan with the DT, then eventually you're gonna run out of scan, and the DTs can clean up everything. So I think that they could be pretty darn greedy right now, and it looks like he will take that Nexus.
Yeah, he's taking it slightly ahead of schedule, but he's safe too because he knows that DTs will have temporary map control. The problem is that SCV Force actually has a vessel popping out just about now, so he will have mobile detection. He's also got Irradiate finishing up, so in about 10-20 seconds, he's also going to be able to throw an Irradiate down onto the Mutalisks of Voodoo, and eventually even start irradiating High Templars as well, which will be geared up to counter this Bioforce. So there's still a very strong fighting chance here for SCV Force and Nemu to pull this out of the bag. Nemu will eventually catch up in Mutalisks. It will just take him a long time. He's kind of going to have to depend on that Terran to bruise and soften up Voodoo's Mutalisks, and then hopefully catch up. He's got a lot of gas banked up, so he can go up to 7 mutas pretty quickly, but Voodoo's already on 9.
Yeah, he's pretty far behind when it comes to that, but like you said, one Irradiate can change the fates, can totally throw you for a loop. But here we go. Templar are out as well. A couple Storms on some mutas can absolutely mess things up as well. Storm, very good against Bio, by the way, as well. Oh my goodness, he's going straight into Maelstrom here as well. Yeah. Pretty crazy. DT going to work. Has 4 kills already. And these mutas are getting a ton of kills as well. Just pushing everything back here. I'm not sure where those Marines were headed, but I guess they were coming to join the rest of this force and just weren't able to make it over there. Where's the vessel right now? I think, okay, there we go. 2 vessels up ahead. There's Scourge out, though. He's got to be really careful with those.
Yeah, they're like gold dust right now. Basically the backbone of Team Red's army. They all do so much heavy lifting in this game. One snipe on those could spell disaster. They're going to pressure the ramp. There's 3 cannons here. The creep makes it so you can't really place more. 3 is like the minimal amount, so it can be overrun. Beautiful Irradiate goes down some. Scourge connect with the Mutalisks of Nemu here. So Nemu not really providing much support besides tanking some shots, trying to help the Bio get on top of this ramp. All the cannons are now down. Team Red are so far doing it. There is Zealot speed here for Dexter, but he's having a hard time getting in here and trading favorably against the Bio. The Terran is going to get the high ground. There's a High Templar here, but it's not got enough energy to storm. It looks like Team Red are going to break into this base and do so much damage. Yeah, they're really getting on top of everything, and the DT plus Storm combination just not quite coming online in time to shut this down. Oh, there's the Storm, but he actually kills a lot of the drones of his ally as well. And it seems like with no money coming in right now for Dexter, Nemu should be able to just keep rallying units, Lings and Mutas, to break in here and kill his Zerg opponent. And there it is. I don't think they're going to be able to recover. Can the Protoss fight
2-on-1. He does have 2 bases.
He does have 2 bases. He has quite a lot of probes, pretty much 40 probes here. Maybe there's a way he can 1v2 this. It's a big ask though, because Terran can counter a lot of what the Protoss is doing with Irradiates on the High Templars, maybe even EMP. He's researching that EMP now. He's going to get a fire battle too to help deal with the Zealots. Bunker's not quite finished, and the Zealots hit squad coming in here and trying to do some damage before the Terran can get set up properly in his natural expansion. This could be a turning point. He's actually accidentally targeting down that egg temporarily. He needs to stop the Terran in his tracks and not let him get this expansion online so easily. They are sending some Zerglings to come and help deal with this. It looks like they will still be able to establish control of this expansion area, and once the Terran gets fully online with those 2 bases, it's going to be even tougher for Dexter.
Voodoo has been eliminated and will not be able to help out Dexter any longer. Actually, I got the 2 mixed up. Voodoo's the Zerg. Okay, Dexter's the Protoss. Oh my goodness. I did get that screwed up. Last time we watched these guys play, Voodoo was playing Protoss the entire time. Did kind of threw me for a loop there. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, Voodoo has been eliminated, and let's see if Dexter can make something happen now that he is solo. He's got some High Templar in the middle of the map, some Dragons and Zealots. It's a small army. EMP! Oh my goodness, what an EMP!
Yeah, he did a massive Maelstrom Storm combo on the Mutas of Nemu, but now he's lost all of his fighting power against this bio of the Terran. Some Zergling's going to soak up some phase disruption shots while the bio starts to charge down on the vertical axis. Dragoons can fight against bio, but if they get too hefty in the threshold of numerical advantage, Terran will overrun this pretty easy, and Firebats soak up so much extra shots because they got 10 more HP and a natural armor. And this is going to be really problematic for Dexter to keep trading cost efficiently against this. He just needs one good storm. There it is! Does take out a massive clump of bio. Dexter fighting back in this game. He's going to have a hard time winning it, but he's kind of started to climb the summit.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go. Hive! 1 base Hive, guys. You don't see that very often. Definitely not in 1v1, but 2v2 meta is completely different. The 1 base Terran play has done really, really well. That bust over on Voodoo's base earlier was pretty darn sick, coming in right on time with the Irradiate plus Mutalisk combo to break that high ground and get up there with the Marines. It was very...
Snipe with the dodge as well. Oh, the mug! Okay, he's killed a few of these High Templars, kind of limiting the punching power of this army. There was a scan that went down at 6 o'clock to make sure the Protoss is staying on 2 gas, but he is taking the mineral only, so he will get a bit of extra gas in the tank for himself, metaphorically speaking, to still fight in this game. Some bunkers being thrown down now to help mitigate storm potential from just overrunning the natural expansion. Seems like Dexter is actually eyeing up the Zerg, making sure the Zerg is not taking an additional base, but Nemu's being pretty smart. He's actually taking the bottom right main base as his second. So that's going to be a lot harder for Dexter to counterattack and identify.
Yeah, he might completely overlook that. He's actually trying to come up this ramp right now. That's not looking very good. Meanwhile, quite a few probes are going to go down at this natural. Dexter losing a big chunk of his economy here. And his army is pretty far out of position. There's no real route for him to counterattack. And there's going to be mines laid down everywhere. Coming in for another round of EMP. Beautiful EMP here. Secondary EMP. Not quite going to land. There was the feedback, but it wasn't in time. And so a lot of this stuff is just dead. I mean, 1 storm, he doesn't even get it off. Oh my goodness. Very nice snipe there from SCV Force.
Animation, insane. But yeah, he's having a rough time fighting against this. I mean, you kind of need Storm to counter Bio. Any splash damage counters Bio, but with beautiful EMPs, even just Irradiates would help out a lot in mitigating that potential damage. He's even retreating into mines. He's got hardly any fighting force left. About 30 supply worth of infantry to utilize. He has got a lot of cannons at this mineral only, so he might be able to cling onto it for a time, but Zerg is getting into Guardians to counter these positions of the Protoss to be as cost effective as possible with as minimal investment. he's going to have a really tough time stabilizing against the Guardians. You kind of need Storm against Guardians. You can't Storm the Bio and the Guardians.
Yeah, one of the big things about 2v2 or 1v2 situations is you've got two players, two different controllers to go ahead and overwhelm your opponent. You can just out multitask, of course, with double the actions of your opponent. He's going to be pressuring that natural with Guardians while this attack is coming in, and you just can't pay attention to everything at the same time. And so these two are using that advantage to its absolute fullest, and GG will have to be called. Nothing he can do. Dexter has to tap out of game number 1.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff from Nemu and SCV Force. It was so close though. I feel like Dexter and Voodoo were very close in holding that attack on Voodoo's main base in the bottom right. But 3 cannons, it doesn't really have a lot of strength against that bio timing. Like 3 is the bare minimum. You're kind of fighting with 3 if you've already got a lot of infantry forces to support that, block the wall, block the ramp rather. And yeah, Voodoo just didn't have a superior count of mutas to hold the line against that. Even Nemu just bleeding in with like 3 or 4 mutas tanked so many shots from those cannons that the bio had an easier time ripping through them. It's a bit of a shame because they came so close to holding and the game would have looked totally different.
All right, people are saying your mic is a little bit quiet. Not quite sure. Shin's mic too quiet. It's the same as it always is, but I'm going to turn it up a little bit here. We'll turn it up about 10%. Hopefully that's okay, guys. Bear with us here.
Coming in way quieter than usual. I just checked.
Okay, let me see.
I don't know why.
Let me see if I can turn you up a little bit.
Yeah, my OBS seems fine and everything for my mic.
All right, guys, let us know if there's anything else wrong with the stream, if we can fix anything else up here for you. I want to make it as good as it could possibly be. But I think we're going to jump into game number 2 here and see how the rest of the series goes. Full best of 7, guys. Winning team takes home $50. Pretty sweet little prize there for a rare 2v2 event. These guys don't get to show their stuff very often, so they're going to be putting on their best games here for us today. So let's just jump right in. Let's go, game number 2.
Let's get it. Spawning here in the bottom left on Protoss Dexter. And his ally in the top right on Zerg Voodoo. And they're going to be playing up against down here in the bottom right on Zerg Nemu. And his teammate, the top left position, SCV Force. Seems like Dexter not as familiar with this map as the others, and it is one of the lesser played 2v2 maps, so could be a big deal. There's this like massive ring around the map which is kind of blocked by some temples and minerals which you can gain access to if you do kill those temples. We don't see a lot of that in 2v2 where people are actually killing these temples to gain access and open up these back lanes, but I think it's super late. Can be tricky to track down all of the bases that could be taken around the map and also open up lanes of attack. It just rarely comes into play.
Yeah, you've got your little tucked in the back natural, but without any gas. Could be a useful base, but I don't know if you can you actually build a hatchery on the top of the ramp here? It seems like the gas minerals are very close. That might be a little bit tough.
The top right is the best spawn for Zerg because you can actually build a creep to cover the ramp from the main base without having to make a hatchery there. So that's actually a really good spot for Zerg.
Interesting. Okay, that could come in handy. It's like you could maybe build a creep here and then just after one creep get to the ramp, but We'll see how these guys want to play. Neither one moving to start to creep their ramp just yet, even though we got SCV Force with the on Terran once again, which will probably necessitate at least some creeps from Nemu to survive the early game.
So talking about the builds a little bit here, seems like for Team Blue, we've got Voodoo rushing into a quick pull and gas, and his teammate Dexter opening up 2-gate, which is super common as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, we've got a hatchery first here from Nemu, but it's you know, an in-base main hatchery. So if he does need to make mutas, he can make less spores to cover that and what have you. A bit of a safer way of taking an additional hatchery early. And it looks like his teammate SCV Force in the top left going into bio yet again, just a quick 2 racks. So yeah, nothing crazy. This is all super standard stuff thus far.
That's not a wall. So
no, it's a hole, yeah.
He's gonna have a little bit of trouble holding if Lings and Zealots get sent to him directly, but fortunately for him, it's just gonna be his partner here who ends up taking a bit of damage or who ends up getting under pressure. I don't think the Sunken actually reaches, so that's a bit of an oversight there from Nemu. Placing his Sunken in a really nice tight location that's hard to get on top of, but it's going to cost him his gas geyser, which really does hurt. He may have to go for like a spore-based style now. He may be forced into that.
Yeah. I mean, he probably would have had to go spores anyway, but this is really sandbagging him catching up with mutas, and also slows down, you know, his possibilities of scaling well in this game. But he does have 2 hatcheries. He does have link speed already on the way, so he can still support his teammate SCV Force in the top left by just making a flood of Zerglings. You know, he's already got the link speed, so the hard part is over. And this was a quick lair from Voodoo again, so he's basically doing the same build order as he did in that last game. He's got link speed finished up already, but got a really quick Spire on the way. And if these other teams don't identify that the link speed was delayed yet again, he might be surprised, and also, again, not optimizing his spore timing appropriately.
Yeah, he might get taken advantage of here once again by Voodoo. However, he can start to put some pressure. Oh, I guess with the 2 cannons finishing, that's not going to be possible. Bioforce coming out. 1 cannon on the high ground over here. Is there a possibility of breaking the Protoss play right now? The nice thing about Zerg, having a Zerg ally, is that they can so quickly run over with the Lings to try to support you. So as soon as he sees the Marines coming to break this ramp, I think the Lings will be right on their heels. And he might just be able to save his ally. Oh, fireback coming up.
Cannon not quite finished. He might be able to break up this ramp. He has to probe drill it. The Lings are coming into support, but the Nemu Lings are already there to help as well. Terran could maybe break this ramp. He's got a few Lings to tank damage. Pretty good probe drill on the ramp, buying a little bit of time. It looks like he is going to get up this ramp and challenge these cannons reasonably successfully. This is a brilliant probe drill, though, denying any surface area to do any damage to those cannons. So actually, they're going to hold pretty nicely timed out by Team Blue. And yeah, Dexter covering both himself and his ally with those cannons is a very strong thing to do in 2v2. They know the timings of when they need to be ready for the initial push from the Terran, and they just barely cling on by the skin of their teeth. And it looks like a quick Citadel to follow up here from Dexter as well, probably going into that Dark Temple attack yet again.
That's right. Here comes the Mutas, but this time Nemu's on point with the Spore Colony timing. Man, that mining really hurts my eyes right now. Holy.
Yeah, it's pretty painful.
That is painful, but look at this. SCV Force a little bit wide open right now. His eBay is a tad late, that's for sure. So trying to defend with just the Marines he has out on the field, that's a little bit rough, and it's going to end up costing him quite a few Marines here in the main. He may end up losing quite a few SCVs as well. Got to start those turrets here in the mineral line, because those Marines are not going to last much longer. Some pretty good micro here from Voodoo. Ooh, he makes a mistake, loses a Muta there. Definitely not what you want to do in a situation like this. Just building up that Mutalisk count higher and higher so that he can start to one-shot these Marines is going to be much better, but I'm not really seeing a lot of reinforcements coming. He's actually pooling his mutas over back at home. Yeah. If he brought these to bear right now, he could probably break one of these turrets and really start to open up one side of the mineral line.
There's a massive counterattack trying to come down onto the Protoss in the bottom left Dexter. It's 4 Zealots trying to hold the line on the ramp here, but only 2 cannons. There's a third one on the way, but it's not maybe quick enough. Let's see. There's not a lot of Marines to also deal with the mutas in the air, so maybe they will hold on. They've been a little bit greedy with the timing of these cannons. This is a lot more like Korean meta, where you try and make the absolute bare minimal and you've got everything mapped out perfectly. So I actually really like this from Dexter and Voodoo. They're showing a lot of knowledge and understanding of the timings by trying to cut a few corners. You'd see that more at like the pro level, where they're really trying to be razor thin with their margins and just, you know, try and be as greedy as possible while still technically being safe. There's only 1 spore covering this gas, so we can dive upon that, snipe this spore, and then open up this whole position. Luckily for Nemu, he quickly made a second spore towards that gas so that he's actually going to be safe. He can still snipe the Evo, but it's not a big deal to lose that.
Yeah, he's going to have another spore here in a moment. Oh, actually, that's a Spire. I think the Spire right out at the edge there is a little bit crazy. A surround from Lings could very quickly take that down. Tries to put down another spore out towards the front here, but it immediately gets taken out. That's a costly mistake. Throwing down a spore like that costs you a drone and all the minerals that you wanted to make the creep colony with, and it only takes 1 volley to kill, so that's really, really rough. Still, the mining in here, not the greatest for Nemu. He's really having a hard time getting this mining going. He's got a lot of drones, but they are not getting very good efficiency, whereas another base is done for Voodoo. So he's going to start mining really nice and efficient back at home. Clear drone line, and coming back in again here to start picking off some drones that are running around the backside of the minerals, because those are very vulnerable.
It seems like Nemu's like a big fan of the Zerg campaign missions, because this mineral line is looking like some of those campaign missions where you're like barely getting optimal mining at all, and some of the patches are super far away. And yeah, he will get quite a good chunk of these drones sniped. And Voodoo's actually way ahead of drones. He's got 19 drones to 13 right now. So definitely focusing more on economy than he did on this last game. Bit of a Ling run by, trying to get on top of these cannons before they're set up in the natural expansion for Dexter. Does snipe 2 of them. Marines coming in to support now. Medic's lagging behind a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He just needs to get a kill move on this Nexus, and he can call that a win. He doesn't need to kill Dexter, he just needs to slow him down. Yeah,
this is a essential moment here. Needed to slow this down, for sure. I could not allow Dexter to have this space right now, because Nemu's falling way too far behind. And SCV Force needs to stay at least on par with the Protoss opponent. And so getting that win, getting that kill, keeps them alive for now. It's still a lot of pressure, though, being applied with these Mutalisks. Doesn't have any spores back at home, so eventually when the Mutas pop out, there might be a play for Nemu. Oh, a lot of damage from that. So many Mutas just went down there, and this Mutalisk force just dropped in number by a huge margin. Look at all of the Mutas coming out here. Can he actually get in and deal some damage? A lot of these are very, very injured. How many is it? 9 to 6. Okay, he should actually still win this fight.
Yeah, he should still win, especially if he micro as well, targets down individual Mutas. But he's actually slightly coming out on top is Nemu, doing some pretty good target firing of his own, but it's not quite enough to deal with the DPS. It looks like Voodoo might barely win with good target firing, but as more and more mutas come in, suddenly he's going to start losing the fight. That low HP muta count really hurting him. He did do an actual split this time. One of the things that killed Voodoo in that last game was his mutas got a beautiful irradiate. SCV Force targeted the muta on the bottom of the pack to make it so impossible to split those out. This time around, he managed to do a split, but still not quite good. He's coming in. Beautiful Maelstrom. Can he combo it with some Psionic Storm? High Templar trying to get in position to execute those Marines, and he does get it off, but it looks like Terran and Zerg still might be able to overwhelm this natural position. He's really slowing down Dexter in a big way. Even sniping 2 High Templars as well as delaying this expansion is a huge deal. Now Terran doesn't even feel pressured to expand right now.
Yeah, really keeping it scrappy here. And forcing Dexter back up his ramp again. A lot of Lings and Mutas coming over to the front door of Terran right as he's coming down the ramp as well. This could be really bad. If Lings get up into the main, he's going to have a very hard time stabilizing. Luckily, he has a bunker up here, so he can hop into that bunker and keep himself safe for now. 2 vessels over here could end up going down pretty quickly. He might want to bail out, fly those over to the Zerg base. They can be very helpful at dealing with the Mutas in the air. Nice irradiate there on High Templar. 9-kill High Templar will die to irradiate, so that's a pretty strong move. At least getting some value out of these vessels as they're getting chased down. Can he actually get the vessel? It's so close. Oh my god, he saves it. 30 HP is crazy.
So close. That's pretty insane. But I don't think they realized that Dexter took this mineral only in the bottom left, so blue team is actually sitting pretty good right now. I mean, we got, you know, double expansion from both of Team Blue. Yes, it's a mineral only expansion, so it's harder to, you know, utilize those minerals when you haven't got much gas, but eventually Voodoo taking his own natural, if he gets that second gas online, they're going to explode in power soon. The pressure is kind of on SCV Force and Nemu to do some counter damage maybe to Voodoo now and not let him get that expansion up. Bit of a Zealot hit squad coming down to Nemu's natural expansion to try and shut down this gas expansion, but Mutalisk should clean this up.
Yeah, Mutalisk plus Vessel, not a combination I ever thought of, but it seems to be a strong one. And it's allowing the red team to take map control, even though they're behind in overall units and, of course, in expansions. Expansions are really going in favor of blue. Oh my gosh, not the greatest pull here. Looks like one vessel did go down. Can he get another irradiate? Another irradiate goes down. So many mutas have died. Oh my gosh. So many mutas have died here. He's actually going to win the fight in the air.
I just want to point out that SCV Force is a god with his irradiates. Like, he's manually targeting, like, pixel perfect, the Mutalisks that are on the bottom of the stack. And that's what's making it so hard for Voodoo to split them out. It's one of the more advanced skills sets that Terran have, but SCV Force definitely has managed to pretty much master that. He's gotten so much value out of the irradiates in the game. It's going to help Nemu come online in a big way. Nemu doing some counter-attacking at the bottom left as well to try and slow down Dexter taking this base. Even just killing the cannons is a big deal as they are trying to be warped in, because it makes the bio have a lot more fighting power and coming down and trading as well. So a bit of an insane game that we're having, because players are starting to get their expansions online. Technically, Team Red are doing a better job in trading, but Team Blue have done a great job in getting these expansions online, so they're going to have an explosivity in this game the longer it goes on. Luckily, Nemu's finally getting his own gas to combat the economic might of Dexter and Voodoo, and Dexter gets this second gas online at long last as well, so now the Terran definitely has to expand.
Yeah, Nemu's actually brought Voodoo down to a similar number of drones. Gonna take the lead in that now. Archon here, pretty hard to deal with. Archon in the mineral line. The storms earlier actually killed a lot of drones of Voodoo's. Kind of just indiscriminate violence there as he was trying to push the Mutalisk out of his allies' main. Caught in the crossfire. A bunch of drones went down, and now Nemu's actually ahead. Oh wow, I don't know where that came from. Another irradiate there. I guess it was one of these. Came over,
yeah, for sure,
for this High Templar, but you can see just some of the intricacies of 2v2. Having your Protoss opponent build units in your base is pretty helpful here for staying alive. Voodoo surviving for now.
Yeah, Nemu's a little bit supplied. Like, oh, he almost kills a vessel with those Scourge. Not quite, though. Does get it the execution, though, with the double feedback on both of those vessels. Dark Archon's so good at helping out deal with that. trying to hunt down this last remaining vessel with the Mutalisks, but it will run to the safety of his teammate Spores. Pretty sizable infantry force, though, from Dexter, making his way in support with the Mutalisks to try and overcome this natural expansion of Nemu, and he's not got a lot to respond to this. It looks like they are going to break this base. They're going to take such an economic lead in there. Looks like Nemu trying to find compensation by laying assault to the probes in Dexter's gas expansion, but he's had this mineral only churning away for a long time, so as long as he's mining from this gas, I don't think he minds too much.
Yeah, now the mutas are coming over here. He's going to try to catch the mutas of Nemu. Nemu losing so many mutas here with the chase micro. Yeah, 4 or 5 end up falling, and really that's all that he has left, just that air force. And once that's gone, with the air control going firmly in the hands of Voodoo, red team's chances are starting to fall apart here. They still have reasonable mining left over, but this is not going to last forever.
Yeah, the problem is now they don't have the same level of map control, which makes it harder and harder for the Zerg and the Terran to link up and work together. The one advantage they had was map control. They were behind in economy. Looks like SCV4's trying to find damage yet again at the expansion area of Dexter, but he's just not got enough stuff. Nemu trying to help out with a few Mutalisks in the sky. It doesn't look like there's enough to actually break this base. They're killing the majority of the cannons, but they can't finish the job. Mutalisks of Voodoo swoop in and do a cleanup on R5 as well. Terran more or less mined out in his main base by the time he secures that expansion, so he's essentially playing one base the entire game, whereas blue team have expanded rapidly and are chugging along in this game, and nothing can seemingly slow them down.
Yeah, I think the blue team doing a really good job of defending.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, red not really taking that good advantage of that by expanding out and taking a bunch of bases for themselves. They've been kind of throwing themselves against this blue wall over here over and over again, trying to get through these cannons and break the natural, but it's not really very effective against a or not really very effective on a map where you can just take a back expansion, right? You can't just denying the natural in the front is not good enough. There's another base in the back, and those have really started to kick in. You can see the supplies are looking dire here for red team.
Yeah, the only thing that I really want to point out is just how good the irradiates are from SCV4. Like, literally every irradiate on the Mutalisks has been, like, pixel perfect, always hitting the bottom stack of the Muta and making it harder and harder for Voodoo to get a massive healthy count in this game. But it's not enough to do the heavy lifting required. Dexter actually coming down into the main base of the Zerg. I don't necessarily think this is a necessary attack to go for here, but he could go for a kill move. It does also open himself up to a counter attack from the Terran and the Zerg working in conjunction, soaking up some shots on those mutas while the Marines get in position to try and overrun this position. The Templar's just about to get enough energy to storm. The Marines are pretty clumped up as well. They managed to avoid the stormer somewhat, but 5 Marines easily go down to that. Vessel also getting sniped. How do you also deal with the Zerg running in to clean up yet again? Like, every single time they're defending so well, it almost seems like red team gonna break through, and then they just can't quite manage it. GG finally called, man. This is gonna be a crazy series. I reckon it's gonna be really back and forth. We're all tied up 1 game apiece so far.
Yeah, that was a good game. I feel like just lack of understanding on that map really hurt red team. Not really being familiar with it, not having the setup there to place down your buildings in your main mineral line hurt Nemu so bad. Oh my goodness, the mining there. That can happen basically whenever there's a new map. It takes a while for Zergs to figure out where to place their buildings, man. Like, if you put your buildings down incorrectly, it can totally screw up your entire game plan, and Nemu was badly injured by that. They also didn't take into consideration the back expansion. I don't even know if they knew about the back expansion until pretty far on in the game. Not really sure, but that's a bit unfortunate. We're going to jump into game number 3 here. soon, guys. Let me just take a moment here to check and make sure that everything's cool with the stream. How's the sound, guys? Is it good now? Are we coming through clear? I'll get confirmation here in a minute.
I think I'm still a little bit quiet. I just checked. But it does sound okay. Like, it's not like I'm too quiet. You can't hear me.
Okay, I can turn you up a little bit more. I don't want your voice to top out. And this is usually the level that we use for KCM, so I'm a little bit worried. But hopefully that's good. I put you up like another 10%. And
okay.
We're going to hop into this next one, guys. All tied up. SCV Force plus Nemu versus Voodoo and Dexter. Let's get it, boys.
Now on Gaia for game number 3, spawning at the 12 o'clock position, Dexter on Protoss. Also in the northern hemisphere, his teammate to the right of him in the top right, none other than Voodoo on Zerg. And they're going to be going up against, here at the 6 o'clock position, Nemu, the Zerg. And his ally in the bottom left, the Terran SCV Force.
Well, I'm glad they're sticking to their races anyway this time. Last time it was getting pretty darn confusing. When they started switching around. But TZ versus ZP, a pretty tried and true matchup in 2v2. Got a lot of these.
Yeah. Terran Zerg used to be common back in the day, in the Pro League era, but in the modern era, it's actually a lot rarer. It's harder to play
really?
that partnership. Yeah. It is really strong, and it has different like timings of when players power spike. Like the Protoss versus Zerg usually have tempo advantage, and their timings are slightly earlier to exploit. The main thing is just the Terran linking forces with the Zerg to work in conjunction with one another. So if the Zerg Protoss does a good job of denying that and isolating players, it can be really tough. At the pro level, it's a little bit easier when the Terran is playing so good and the Zerg is really understanding his supporting role. But, at the amateur level, so hard to make that Terran Zerg work.
Voodoo sticking with his guns here, and actually Nemu switching it up. He's going to be going for a bit of a faster pool. And actually, this is a 9 pool, whereas there's an overpool coming from Voodoo. So gonna have a little bit faster lings here. We'll see how this ends up playing out, though. With the Terran ally, you're just not gonna have map control early. That's just the way it is. You gotta wait for the Terran to come online, and so probably gonna have to make a sunken colony. Looks like he's just gonna go for ling speed, and then get a sunken colony here back at home. It's not really a way around it.
So this is the OG way of playing TZ. You'd have the Zerg almost always going 9 pool speed into one base layer into Mutalisks every single time. The Zerg basically taking a supporting role from start to finish. He hasn't elected to do that in these other games, but in game number 3, he's certainly trying to put on some pressure with this 9 pool speed and establish some map control to prevent any 2v1 situations, and also increase their odds of linking forces later on. Though it does seem like Voodoo has anticipated this. He's got enough Zerglings to shut this down, and giving time for Dexter to maybe think about, cannoning this ramp eventually as well.
And Nemu was really close to actually catching the probe coming over to get on top of this ramp. That would really mess up the strategy, I feel like. Just that one little move, catch the probe right as it's arriving, could actually throw the entire strategy for a loop. But instead, oh, look at this coming around the side here. So going to walk right into these lings. A lot of Lings right now coming up. Try and take this fight versus Voodoo. He's taking the fight at the bottom of the ramp and not a very good concave. And so this is really starting to go Nemu's way. It's hard to push up this ramp right now, but he's got way more Lings. He's got way more reinforcements coming as well. Trying to buy time for the Zealots to come up. Probe trying to come forward, maybe help out a little bit. There's the cannon started up on the high ground, but the Marines are here now.
Oh,
and this can get really bad really fast. There's the cancel. Uh-oh, 3 Zealots are catching reinforcements, but he's going to be right inside this mineral line in a second. The Marines are going to start to work on these drones, and more Lings are coming in to keep those Marines safe. Diving on top now with the drones. Good pullback, though. Really good control here from SCV Force, making sure he's targeting down drones and not letting the drones and Lings surround him. The Zealots have arrived, but the damage has been done. 6 drones left for Voodoo.
He's not going to be able to make as many mutas as a result. A lot of his lava being utilized in extra Lings as well. So he will have a weaker timing with that tech play of rushing into Mutalist. And this is the power of going for 9 pool. You know, the Terran can come out with just a couple of Marines to put on a lot of pressure 2v1 onto the Zerg or something. And that's going to really sandbag their efforts in this game. Obviously, Nemu will still have to make spores eventually. Actually, Lings slip into the main again. That's really annoying. Just denying a little bit of mining time actually is a really big deal at this junction because he's not optimally going to be able to squeeze out these Mutalisks to put on counter pressure. Dexter doing good work with his slow Zealots on the ground to trade and deny further damage. But already I would say Team Red looking pretty good in this game. They've kind of done what they needed to in slowing down Voodoo and not letting him have a massive power spike with that one-base Spire.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be power spiking here anytime soon. Zealots are going to have to stay to keep him safe while he re-drones and gets a few mutas out, because Lings slipping by could mean devastation. Here comes a probe. Going to start to set up those cannons on high ground once again. Spores are already done. eBay is done. No turrets just yet, but he doesn't need to add them on for another few moments at least, while the Mutalisk count is building. Just a 1-2 out on the map, so really can't do much with it just yet. That's gonna allow SCV Force to just slowly move into that anti-air and feel a lot more comfortable here in this game.
Yeah, I actually kind of really like how Red Team are playing, and I also love this modern adjustment from Nemu. Like, he's not doing the OG style of doing 9 pool speed into quick Spire off 1 hatchery. Like, he's playing eco as well. He made a 2nd hatchery before making that lair, so he's going to optimize his economy and production to also stay on curve with Voodoo. Yeah, I think he anticipated Voodoo getting a 2nd hatchery possibly or something, so he wants to make sure no matter what happens, he's going to be on curve at dealing with that. And yeah, there is that 2nd hatchery from him. So I really like how Nemu and SCV Force are playing this one out, because it's such a modern take on 2v2, how to play Terran and Zerg. Like, they're kind of like, it's like MMA. Like, they're not just, you know, trying to look fancy. They're trying to just pick the best things about what each race can do and try and formulate that into the best combination possible, and only picking what works from their arsenal. And I think this is a great adjustment from them. The only thing that might be a little bit tricky is that even though they've done a lot of damage to Voodoo, they still have to contend with that map control, and I imagine we will still be seeing some Dark Templar to secure that extra map control. Beautiful catch on those mutas from SCV Force as well, really shutting down Voodoo's ability to establish himself in this game. Voodoo really not finding his groove in this game because of that early damage and still getting punished.
Yeah, I like it. Like you said, the strategy from Team Red, paying off big time, getting in before all the cannons and everything can be set up and both players are, you know, well defended. Breaking open this strategy from blue team and slowing down that Mutalisk push so much, that Mutalisk timing so much. Now a huge Bioforce with a lot of Lings coming up to the top right or top left, excuse me. He throws down 1 scan, does manage to get rid of the DT. Lings here tanking on the ramp. The cannons do so much damage to the Marines. Is there actually enough to break here? The lack of Mutalisk is really going to hurt Team Blue, but you know what? They do manage to hang on regardless. Enough Zealots produced and Voodoo and Dexter will hold on.
This is kind of crazy that they defended that with 2 cannons. Like, I'm actually kind of blown away by how good Dexter and Voodoo defend as a team. Like, in most 2v2 situations, you should have 3 cannons for that timing, but they seem to be able to get away with the bare minimal. They've got a more, like, metagame, pro-gamer level way of styling out their timings. It might help them out a lot because they're going to be super optimized. Having to make less cannons means you can be so much more aggressive with more Zealots and tech timings. And another beautiful Irradiate from SDV Force. Like, he's never once done a bad Irradiate. Every single, even using the Irradiate unit to help kill drones. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Voodoo, despite being set back a lot in this game, still doing a lot of good effort in helping out his teammate here, but Spire just barely gonna live. Oh no, he gets it! He gets the Spire. That's a really big deal.
Yeah, he gets the Spire. This is unfortunate for Team Red. Like, they had the forces to fight that small army, but they were out of position. Over here on the top left, thinking about going in on Dexter again, but this little hit squad, 5 Zealots, comes in to get rid of the spores and opens up the position for the Mutalisks to deal some extra damage. A really nice hit squad from Team Blue actually evens things right back out again. You can see that Dexter trying to take his Nexus. If he manages to get that up, there's nothing Team Red can do about it. It's really going to be hard for these guys to come back. He's actually on 10 drones now. He had so much economy earlier, and he's wide open again. If anything comes down here, any amount of Lings and Mutas comes down to this base, I mean, it's going to happen so quick that Nemu is just going to die.
Yeah, he sacrificed a vessel to get an Irradiate off on the Templar with high energy. There's 2 more Templars, but they, they've only barely got enough energy for 1 storm apiece. He might be thinking he can break down another Irradiate coming down onto those high Templars, trying to tank the photon cannon shots with the Mutalisks of Nemu to bust in here and do a lot of damage quickly. Both high Templars going down. 1 more left remaining, also getting sniped. Voodoo trying to hang on by a thread, shut down this Bioforce while he still can. Medic's a little bit out of position, so he's going to target those down as well. He should have enough to overwhelm this small force left remaining from Team Red. And every single time, it's like Dexter and Voodoo are always hanging by the skin of their teeth and just barely manage to hold off the timings that SDV Force and Nemu can throw at them.
Yeah, they've done a great job hanging on here once again, this time keeping the Nexus alive and making sure that they maintain that overall economic lead. Is it time to start taking expansions here on the side of Team Red? Are they going to just try to continuously break Dexter? I think that with all the high Templars he's got out, he's going to keep building high Templars, and they are finally going to have energy. There was no Storm during that last fight. That was their best chance of breaking, and next time there will be Storm. More bases are going to start to be taken here. Yeah, I think this is the right call to start expanding and getting into the next stage of the game. Definitely tanks are necessary to deal with this.
I definitely think Nemu should be playing more of a supporting role, so I don't mind how he's playing, but the Terran definitely does have to expand to keep up with the Protoss. I mean, the Protoss already has 40 probes in this game, Terran on 29, but now that he's got this expansion, he can still remain fighting strong in this game as it develops. Always going to try and target down the Spire. There's not a lot of forces here to stop this from occurring. Nemu losing the Spire again is huge. Team Blue in control of the game despite the onslaught of attacks and Dexter's expansion. They've defended it well. Another beautiful Irradiate. Every single Irradiate from SCV Force has been on point. Like, this is really bad that he's letting Nemu take this much damage, but I'm so blown away that he's never let us down with how skilled his execution is at always hitting the bottom muter on the pack, man. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, it's kept the mutas of Voodoo pretty low for the majority of this game. However, the damage that was done there to Nemu can't be overstated, man. That was so much damage. Losing the Spire, that's going to cost a ton of money to replace. And they just don't have anything on this side of the map to spot or scout or see what's coming. And so they just keep getting blindsided by these small attacks. that deal massive damage. The Zealots earlier, and now the Ling Muta coming in and just killing off so much. Nemu is going to be next to useless for quite a long time, whereas Voodoo is just going to keep sending units over and keep putting pressure onto his Zerg opponent. Like, there's nothing here, man. One sunken colony is all he's got, and there's nothing else helping out.
Yeah, he can also snipe down the gas even outside of the range of that spore, or just try and get some tactical lings in here. Luckily, there's enough lings to clear it up. He's actually going to just dive upon that spore. You only need 7 mutants to beat that, and he's definitely met that threshold and more. Nemu in so much trouble in this game. STV Force has played a great game, but Nemu's been lagging behind at every junction. Dexter and Voodoo doing a great job of shutting him down and denying the map control potential of that Terran and Zerg team. Another beautiful Irradiate. Absolutely insanity. Like, I don't want to talk trash against Nemu here. I feel like STV Force has definitely been playing better.
STV Force, can he carry from here? He's got a couple of bunkers back at home, but we do have High Templar with Storm making their way to the front line. And just 2 bunkers. Is it really going to be enough? A third is on the way. I don't see any tanks from him at all. Really needs tanks to be able to fight against the Protoss player who's just growing out of control. Dexter, like, you're just not going to be able to fight head to head with Bio forever. I'm surprised that he's not trying to make that switch into mech here. What do you think, Sean?
Well, I mean, it is quite common in 2v2 to not go for tanks, so I'm not too surprised, but these storms are ridiculous, taking out so much Bio. You need to really be on top of EMPs and Irradiates on the Templars, but I guess he's been so busy dealing with Voodoo's air superiority that he's not had enough utility remaining to, you know, shut down the Templars of Dexter. And that's allowed Dexter to trade so efficiently in this game. It was really nice that Nemu got a tactical snipe on that natural expansion that Voodoo was taking, so it is slowing down Voodoo a little bit here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There's actually a flock of Scourge coming out from Nemu here, trying to fight fire with water instead and see if he can expel the air superiority, utilizing Scourge to try and be a little bit more efficient. Oh, he does catch the probe transfer. That's something, at least, for Team Red here, as STV Force tries to collapse onto that natural expansion, but Voodoo's not letting up. He's putting more and more pressure on Nemu while this is going on. Pretty beautiful Sonic Storm. Does look like he's going to be able to hold off against this Bio timing attack yet again, and this time Dexter's going to be helping out in eliminating Nemu as well. That's GG is called, and a 2-1 advantage now for Dexter and Voodoo, who definitely played a great defensive game this time around.
Absolutely. Taking the lead there, Voodoo and Dexter coming out on top again. SCV Force and Nemu had a great opener. Definitely got the lead in that game, but we're a little bit too preoccupied with taking out Dexter's, taking on Dexter, taking out his expansion, or just attacking into him, and left Nemu pretty wide open for counterattacks. Teamwork seems better for Voodoo and Dexter, really.
It's actually common for the Terran to send a small Bio squad into the Zerg's main base to help out and deal with those Muta timings as well, but SCV Force hasn't been going for that route, instead wanting to find crisper timings on punishing Dexter. It was really close, only 2 cannons on the ramp. He maybe could have broken Dexter there, he just didn't quite make it happen. Actually saying I'm going to take a quick 1 to 2 minute break to grab some fluids, because I actually forgot to grab water for this cast, so we'll take a very quick 1 minute, 2 minute break, guys, and come back into game number 4. It's going to be Iron Curtain, the most played 2v2 map in Pro League history. That's going to be super exciting. It could be 2 1v1s on either side of the map, or they could also be on one side working together in a semi-island position. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, we are back. We're ready to jump into our next game. It's going to be on Iron Curtain. We're hopping right into game number 4. Let's go.
Spawning here in the top left, SCV Force on that Terran. And in the bottom right, his teammate, also Terran. Wait, which one is which actually? Saying do a shift tab. Okay, yeah, it is Nemu here in the bottom right as Terran. We're going to have to actually use non-shift tab colors, I think, for this one. And in the top right here, as the brown, Protoss, Dexter. And over here on the left, Voodoo on Zerg. So we will have 2 1v1 situations, which always makes for the most interesting games on Iron Curtain. Although you can proxy as well, obviously, like hopping over a probe of that mineral wall, or hopping over, you know, vultures or bio, utilizing a barracks, lifting and landing. So there's ways of getting in to attack the other side of the map early as well. But being locked into 2 1v1s on either side of the map to start things off always makes for some very interesting situations.
Yeah, you can see these guys are somewhat locked onto one side of the map. You can hop over with different techniques. Either, you know, building a pylon, building a supply depot, floating. There's a bunch of different ways to hop over. You can just bring a drone, hop some lings over. But it does take a lot of APM, and so for the most part, these guys are just going to be 1v1ing. Terran versus Protoss, Terran versus Zerg. And both the Terrans are on the same team. I think that's how the best way to remember what's going on here. In classic 1v1 on a, you know, 1 versus 1 map.
Terran versus Protoss, yeah.
2-player map. You're just going to go ahead and steal that gas. Why not?
Yeah, and he's just going to second racks. And this actually is a way of dealing with the potential of like a proxy 2-gate or something. You don't know exactly what the Protoss is doing behind that. And in the 2v2 situation, probably doesn't hate going for bio anyway. I imagine his teammate will want to tech if he's going for bio. So yeah, it looks like SCV Force actually getting a gas behind this. So we'll be deviating in their tech choice. And the interesting thing about the show matches is we don't have the same rule set. Like, you either in the normal SLON tournament, you're playing random or picking a race, and you can't race pick. However, in the show matches, we didn't tell them that they couldn't race pick. So sometimes these guys are gonna pick a race specific for the map that they're playing on, which is why we see this double Terran, it seems.
Yeah, interesting kind of mix up here to switch over to double Terran. I don't think that's super popular, is it? Double Terran in 2v2?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like the least played matchup in 2v2.
Well, it seems weak. I mean, it's very hard to help each other out. Takes a long time for either player to get online, and you know, Zerg Protoss just have such a huge power spike in the early game to really punish. So that's going to be tough. Cannon started up here. It's a great counter to the double racks. Like, you see 2 raxes, your opponent's going Marines, 1 cannon at the front, 2 cannons at the front, absolutely utterly destroys early game Marines. And so that's what he's looking to do. Dexter here gets 1 Zealot pass with just 8 HP. The Marines are going to head across as soon as possible, but cannon will be done. And so, you know, just 1 cannon is enough, I think, but he's going to even add on a second one, which makes it even more impossible to break.
Yeah, I mean, 1 can break if you send over like 10 plus Marines. So I think making the second cannon is just better, and shutting this down, since it is 2 racks play, might be safer to, you know, get that online as quickly as possible and just deny any possibility. It's quite a long rush distance as well. You can see the like lane leading to the base is a little bit of a loop. So it does take a long time to actually get these Marines downtown to do damage as well. So definitely those cannons will be in time to shut this down completely. But we actually cancelled the second cannon. Maybe there's a way he can come in here and do something. I think with 2 Zealots and a cannon, he might still be okay. But a lot of SDVs are being pulled. He's not messing around. Canceling that second cannon could come back to haunt Dexter.
Yeah, that's very true. He might just lose here. At least lose the cannon. This pylon if that ends up going down. I think we're going to see Dexter just die. Here we go. That's a lot of Marines, man. That is a lot of Marines, and the SCVs are going to be blocking, going to be tanking for this as well. Here we go. This is a crazy moment, and it's going to affect the other side of the map as well, but here we go. Dives on top of it. Cannon completely surrounded by SCVs. So that's going to go down very, very quickly. So many probes are going to fall. The probe pull not quick enough. I think he's just going to die.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, if he surrounds this.
Oh, the Dragoon! Don't let the Dragoon get surrounded. It's like his one saving grace is that one single Dragoon could help kill all of these Marines in conjunction with the probes. 3 more Marines trying to get into the main base. He didn't actually get a surround on that Goon just yet. So there's still a fighting chance here, but Dexter has been taken down to 12 probes already. There will be a second Dragoon popping out here momentarily. It's a little bit greedy for Dexter to go one single cannon into 3-gate Goon like this. He felt like he would be safe, but with the SCV pool, just barely had enough fighting power to get inside this main base. He is shutting down this attack thus far. Bunker is up. If he gets a single Marine into that bunker, it's going to be super annoying. Luckily, he's shutting down that, but there is something coming in from SCV Force. It's a dropship. This attack is still online as 4 Vultures unload to help his teammate get some kill moves on this Protoss player. Another Dragoon just about to pop out, but all the probes could still die.
Yeah, you can just target down as many probes as possible here. You lose every single probe to 4 Vultures before they can deal with these 3, before the Dragon can do anything. And then the Marines slip by. Oh my gosh, 2 Marines suddenly slip by.
Some mutas flying into the main base of Nemu right now, trying to put on some counter pressure. There's a little bit of bio to help fight this back, but with good Mutalist Micro, he should be able to overwhelm this. Looks like Team Voodoo and Dexter might still be okay as long as Voodoo can do a lot of damage with these Mutalists. He has to kill so many SCVs and Marines to claw their way back in this game, since Dexter is pretty much out of it. He's got enough to make one single probe, and he does have Dragoon range, I think, so he can eventually kill that bunker, but it will take him a long time coming to achieve that. Starting to make some turrets to stabilize. A lot of SCVs going down. He's actually sent the Dragoon across the map to try and execute Nemu out of this game, kind of trading a player for each other right now. And there's also a drop in the main base of the Zerg in the bottom. The absolute craziness in the game. A 4 Goliath hit squad in that drop. This is really old school Terran tactics. Goliath drop, one of the oldest builds on those very ancient maps where semi-islands and islands were prominent. And yeah, doing a lot of damage to the Zerg while this is all going on as well. Absolute craziness. Everyone is taking damage except SCV Force.
Yeah, SCV Force is just doing fine here. He doesn't really have much anti-air. Then I say that I see 2 Valkyries pop out. That's incredible. I'm definitely going to be able to shut down the air forces. Oh my gosh, here comes the drop. Drop will fall. Got to be really careful with those Valkyries. That's the one thing that's good right now for SCV Force. 16 drones and 2 bases. It's practically a ZVT now. Nemu's just gonna have to lift off and run away. These Dragoons finally take out everything. So this is a crazy game. 2 Marines going across the map, trying to eliminate. Maybe he can, go hop in that bunker or something. I'm not really sure. Here we go. This is the real fight right now. Is he gonna be able to dive on top of these Valkyries? No. Can he get a shot back with the Valkyries onto the mutas? He gets a great volley there. And what is this? 3 Valkyries? That's doing so much damage. Oh my god.
Oh my god. So he kills every single muta. I think SCV Force is in a very commanding position right now. And his teammate Nemu does have enough to build a single SCV with that floated command center if he wanted to. But how can he? He's not actually even getting away with that command center. He should have maybe floated that over to the 6 o'clock or something, or at least get it away so it won't die. He is going to try and tactically snipe. He's actually going to take burning damage on that CC now. I think Dexter's going to kill this CC. Yeah, he shouldn't have left it in his main base that long. He should have floated it away. Now he's going to pay the price. He's essentially going to be eliminated since he won't be able to make an SCV anymore.
Yeah, the game on the right-hand side of the map is over. It's now SCV Force versus Voodoo. And this is going to be a great match, man. I love it when 2v2 ends up like this. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
2 players are now just basically spectators here, cheering on their allies.
Yeah, hopefully they won't do what some allies do, especially when they're random allies, where they just start screaming at you to do things. You know,
Yeah.
just basically being like backseat gamers. Like, it's like, you're dead, okay? Let me play my game.
Exactly. I wouldn't put it past them.
Iron Curtain, definitely one of those really spicy maps, especially when you get 2 1v1 situations like this. And SCV Force did the perfect thing. Like, he came in with the vultures to guarantee a kill move on Dexter, but also ended up losing his teammate Nemu in the process. I mean, there's a couple of bio units and 2 SCVs doing some damage onto Dexter's last remaining buildings, but the 2 Dragoons actually should come and win that fight as well, so they won't actually be able to eliminate Dexter entirely. So yeah, Dexter's gonna have 2 Dragoons to run around the map and make sure there's no ninja expansions from the Zerg, I guess. But that's about it, or rather from the Terran. I don't know about this, man. Like, I kind of feel like SDV Force is in the driver's seat. He's done such a great job of killing off that initial Mutalisk flop. We've now got a transition coming here from Voodoo. Voodoo. He's going to be going for like Hydra-centric style, but tanks hard counter this.
Yeah, he's going to come up here and siege. There's nothing in the air to try and snipe these tanks. A lot of Hydras are going to be popping out here soon, so you know the Valkyries don't really get a lot of value. But the thing is, if he tries to commit with Hydras to kill this, the Valkyries that can then kill every Overlord. Right, like even if he barely wins the fight, every Overlord will die. So I mean, he's gonna try it. He's gonna try to just build up Hydras as long as possible. He's definitely gonna end up losing this evolution chamber for sure, and probably this upgrade. But let's see, can he actually come forward and fight this and break the tanks right now? There's a lot of mech here on the ground. I think he needed to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, everything is just gonna die, and now there's no hope of holding. GG.
GG.
There it is.
This series is crazy, Sam. We're now 2 games apiece, with still at least 2 more games remaining to be played, because this is a best of 7. So it's first to 4 wins, and they're all tied up on game number 4. Kind of crazy. Like, I don't know who's going to take this, because it seems like both teams have bigger strengths and less weaknesses on certain maps. So it might come down to what maps they end up playing on, who will end up winning this. It's kind of insane. We've got Azalea coming up next. That's a really old school map. Going into game number 5 now. Let's see what happens between these 2 teams, because it's really exciting. All right, spawning here in the top left, Azerg, Nemu. We can go back to shift tab colors now, Sam. His teammate in the bottom left on Terran, SCV Force, really clutching it out in that last game on Iron Curtain. And they're going to be facing off down here in the bottom right on Protoss, Dexter. And his ally over here in the top right quadrant of the map, Voodoo, on that Zerg.
Pretty awesome that the double T ended up working out. Double Terran.
Yeah.
Not something you see very often. Cool. Terran pretty weak in 2v2, and the manner in which they pulled that off was pretty epic as well. The last second vulture drop, right as Nemu was about to be held, like he was just barely not going to kill Dexter, right? He was just barely not going to kill Dexter, and then the vultures arrived and just cleaned up everything and finished him off, and we ended up with that pretty cool 1 versus 1. SCV Force really coming in clutch there, and we'll see if he can continue to do so. See if him and Nemu can continue to work together here well and give these guys a real run for their money. Voodoo and Dexter definitely looks stronger initially, but 2-2, I mean, it's anybody's series here.
Maybe Nemu is playing random. That could be possible, because Voodoo just said Z when the Overlords touched. So maybe Nemu isn't race picking. He's actually playing random each time and just happens to be getting Zerg a lot. That could be possible. But the one thing about Azalea that's interesting is you got this massive open choke and there's no ramp, so it's much easier to get counter-attacked in this game. And actually, Dexter hasn't walled that off very well, so it's going to be really tough for him to stop, like, say, a Ling run-by or something into his main later on.
Yeah, it's going to be harder for him to defend his ally with cannons as well, because we've seen time and time again SCV Force and Nemu try to get in and kill early with some Marine Medic and Zerglings, and every time it's been held because of the ramp and cannons finishing. So if it's not held here, it's going to be a bit rough. Their game plan may have to change. Dexter over here trying to harass a little bit and get some damage going on this wall, because it's totally going to shut out the Lings. Can he actually get the SCV? Not quite. Does have to pull back. Meanwhile, Nemu has some Lings of his own. He's hiding some over here in the bottom corner. And he's going to be finishing up that Ling speed just slightly faster than Voodoo. So we'll see what he can do with that as it comes online.
Yeah, both players went for very poor with speed here. Oh, catching the Zealot would be huge. There's a reasonable surround on it. Might be able to finish that off, but not before the Lings of Voodoo helping out and keeping that Zealot alive and reasonably healthy in this game. Trying to put on some pressure now, and we've got our first deviation. Seems like Nemu going for a fast second hatch to maintain mass Lings, whereas Voodoo trying to get straight into that Spire. So I don't think they'll be able to break Nemu, because he'll have enough lava production soon to hold the line. We'll also make a safety sunken to make sure he can shut this down. But there is a tiny window where maybe they can get in here and do something. But as soon as that hatchery that's just been built starts producing Zerglings, they should be fine. So I think the safety sunken is very reasonable here, just to make sure they survive like the next 30 seconds or so until that hatchery is online and producing, to make sure there's no counter damage done. And Voodoo will also be forcing Nemu to make some spores eventually as well.
I'm surprised that they didn't go in with that before the Sunken Colony was finished. They had vision with the Overlord, but decided against it, at least for now. Looks like a third Zealot might be coming in. Oh, third and fourth Zealot are coming up. But the Marines are now out. So Marines with medics, definitely dominant in the very early mid-game, right? Right as they come out, they kind of take over. Definitely the strongest early game units, right? Lings are very strong, Zealots are very strong, but as soon as you got Marine Medics with Stim, it's like they just can't be beaten by anything, especially if you've got some Lings to kind of body block for you. Taking the fight here, a better fight overall for Nemu, and these Zealots are being found out in the middle of the map. Stim is done, range is on the way, and the pressure is on. Can they actually get over here and break one of these positions? Triple cannon here, but it's not done. Oh boy, he's gonna get the probe. Probe goes down. Geez. Drone's being pulled to try and save this. Jumps on a cannon. He's going after this cannon on the bottom side. Some firebats coming up as well. There's the cannon just about to finish. One of these is very low. The other one, though, still on high HP. Diving on top of it, gets the first cannon. Zealots are going to go down really quickly here. Drone's trying to come out to help. Another cannon going to finish, but the first one done. That goes down immediately. Oh my goodness, he's just barely going to break this. All the drones are dying.
Wow. If they made these cannons closer to the actual choke, rather than taking this greedy forward position to give the Zerg access to these two expansions, they probably would have been okay. But because they put the cannons so far out in front, it made it easier to dislodge that defensive position. Now Voodoo's in a world of hurt. He's trying to make a panic sunken, but it's not going to be in time. GG is called. Very quick tactical advantage by Nemu and SDV Force here, overwhelming the position. I think that was a little bit greedy from Dexter and Voodoo to try and set up such a forward position with the cannons. It gave an earlier timing window, and you have to really respect Terran, man. It's not like in 1v1 where the bio's coming out at just before 5 minutes. It's like a whole 30 seconds or so quicker because he's not making that early CC.
Yeah, it comes out really, really fast, and it is just so powerful. They did respect it with the 3 cannons, but the greed shown by Voodoo and Dexter there really ended up being punishing. We're going to be going onto Faui, our next map, and we had the best game out of all last time in 2v2 on this map, so I'm expecting fireworks, guys. It's match point now with SCV Force and Nemu in the lead. Let's see if they can close it out here on Fowie. Hope I'm saying that right. Fowie.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced Foy.
Foy.
Saying I think it's actually, yeah, I think that's the Chinese pronunciation, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure though. In the top left, spawning as Terran, SCV Force, and his teammate. Now, because we know he's on random, he's also got Protoss finally. Nemu, we got some TP action going up against Dexter here in the top right on Protoss. And his ally in the bottom left on Zerg, Voodoo.
So, Terran Protoss.
Pretty rare as well. You only really see it when one player's playing random, honestly. Like, not many people are queuing up Terran Protoss, you know?
So, it's going to be harder to combo. But it also will be more difficult to play against, right? If you're not seeing it very often.
Yeah, well, individually they can be very strong. It's just, again, you have a harder time linking up together, right? Like the slow zealots at the start, finding it hard to establish map control individually, especially if the Zerg wants to be a bit aggressive with a quick pull and gas. We'll have to wait and see what build order is elected here. Seems like that's an overpull into gas here from Voodoo. So not as crazy aggressive as something like a 9 pull, but still more or less establishing the same thing. Overpull is a little bit more standard in 2v2 these days than 9 pull. It's a bit less aggressive, but it's a lot safer and a bit more economically centric. So you can kind of do everything. It's a much more versatile way of opening up a Zerg in a 2v2.
Again, with the double barracks here. SCV Force gonna stick with his guns, keep the bio coming, and yeah, it is tough to hold on if you're playing Zerg against 2 players. If your opponent or if your ally doesn't go bio, it takes a long time for them to come and help you if they just try to go straight into mech. But he could potentially go mech here, right? Protoss is a lot better at holding onto the ramp. Nemu should be able to, put a couple zealots up here and be okay. The thing is, they can't really put on pressure. Like you said, they can't go across the map and link up and do any damage to their opponents until quite a bit later on. So I'm surprised to see him moving out right now. Like, I really expected him to stay on the ramp, go for some sort of tech option while just defending up here with cannons, but he's going to push out here, and that might open up a big opportunity for the Zerg Protoss squad with a lot of... Oh, he's actually teching. Okay. So Dexter's going to attack right now instead.
Yeah, that's a bit greedy from Dexter. I mean, it might pay off. We'll have to wait and see. And it looks like his teammate Voodoo going to be taking a hatchery on the ramp while staying on predominantly link speed. He's only got like 1 going back onto gas now. So he'll eventually tech up, but he wants to focus more on map control with some speedlings, trying to make it really hard for these 2 players, SCV Force and Nemu, to actually link forces and work together. Remember, going to be a 2-gate tech play here from Nemu as well. Faster tech options though. For Voodoo, has a Robo on the way, probably going to go into Reavers, it seems. Could be really strong, like Reavers super good against Bio and really good against Protoss as well. Maybe Reavers are definitely the choice here.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, right? You could try to expand really early because you know that Terran Protoss is going to be a bit defensive early on. Or you could try to go really heavy tech, and the tech option is great, especially since SCV Force has basically only been going bio. Like, bio just gets absolutely shredded by that Reaver, and so he's gonna have that out super soon, very quickly, and it'll do great against the Mass Zealot as well. There are a couple of Dragoons popping out here, and so Nemu is going to go into what looks like DT, also a great option. Looks like they've identified it here, and let's see if he can actually get in and punish with this initial Reaver.
Yeah, and scouting it is a huge deal because now, you know, he can also throw down that observatory alongside that Reaver eventually and be absolutely fine out on the map. He's also got the Overlord temporarily. You know, defensively, they're going to be okay against the DTs, and eventually we can either see Overlord speed or observers to, you know, establish map control to deny value of that. Link spotting the bio move out timing. It's a little bit of a slower timing of the bio coming out than usual, but he did steal the gas, so it really sandbags, you know, when you get that stim and medics out. So they've slowed down the Terran quite a lot in this game as well. They did kill an Overlord of Voodoo, so Voodoo's not as optimized as he could be, but he's going to be sunkening up this ramp to make sure he's safe against this Bioforce that's making its way downtown. A lot of Zealots coming over as well. He might not have enough to defend this. I mean, maybe Red Team can actually break this position. He kind of needs 3 Sunkens finished, and he's only got 2 with 1 on the way.
Yeah, I think that they've made a bit of a oversight here. Zealot's going to easily be able to break up this ramp, and they're going to tank so much damage, and Firebat plus Marine can easily clear a lot of this. Firebat coming up here to go ahead and fight the Lings and drones as they come forward to try and defend this ramp. He's trying to shove up here. 3 Sunken still all alive. So actually, you know what? They do hold, but a lot of drones died, down to just 7 left. This is the first time we've seen Dexter not put cannons on his allies' ramp, and they do get punished a bit for it.
He's just scanned the main base of Dexter. I think he's identified the Reaver tech now. I think the reason they defended that so well was because Voodoo was really smart with his Zerglings. He slowed down the bio a lot. He kept like threatening us around on the bio as they were getting into position to break up the ramp, so that they weren't really working as well in conjunction with those Zealots as they could have been. And by the time the Marines finally did get there, the 3rd Sunken was already finished up and just barely clung on there. Really well defensively held from Dexter and Voodoo, and we expect nothing less of them. They've been defensively the superior team in this series, super strong. Now we finally got that Reaver making its way into the Terran's main base. Could do a lot of damage here with some Scarab shots.
Gets a couple of SCVs, but quickly driven out by SCV Force. Need to get a little bit more going here because Protoss is getting stronger, and Terran is going to start coming into his own very shortly as well. Going for that machine shot finally. Going to start maybe building some vultures, maybe throwing down some mines around the map, potentially going into a tank marine style. It's so hard to deal with this Reaver tech play unless you have at least some amount of tanks. Just going straight marines is a little bit too tough. EMPs don't work on it, I've heard, Shun, so it just doesn't quite work out if you just want to stick on bio play for much longer.
It seems like this Reaver's going to try and loop around into the main base of Nemo here down in the bottom right. He's got 1 single cannon on the ramp, a couple of High Templars, but not a lot in the probe line. He could get a storm on the Reaver to help counter it, but it won't be enough to kill it. Could be a massive Scarab connection, blows up like 4 probes or something, and kills the High Templar. Already massive damage has been dealt. There's a cannon on the periphery that's not going to help out very much against this. Shuttle speed is now done as well. Graviton boosters online. Going to make it even easier to micro around this shuttle and do damage. And now the Terran and Protoss will have to kind of guess where this shuttle will end up being. Could come back into the Protoss' main base, or it could swing all the way to the top left quadrant of the map and hit the Terran again. Looks like it is doing the latter, trying to make a beeline now for SCV Force's base. And if SCV Force goes for an attack right now, he might not have enough back at home to defend against that Reaver timing. He's got 1 turret zoning it out, but it might still find a pocket of weakness.
Ooh, lands right in range of the tank. Will get driven away. Meanwhile, tank coming up over here towards the natural of Voodoo. Of Dexter. Dexter has 1 Reaver here, ready to fight. Lings are coming out. They're not going to be able to do too much against this force, primarily Marines and Zealots, but might be helpful in the cleanup. Diving in here. Zealot's taking a lot of damage. Ooh, what a hit there from that Scarab. Reaver up here on the high ground. 1 Reaver from behind as well.
Yeah, the wraparound from behind is clutched. Just defensively, they've really been on point the entire series. You can't really fault them. They definitely work better as a team when they're playing a little bit reactive to the timings of the Terran and set up strong like this. Now the Protoss is pretty stable with his expansion. Meanwhile, Nemu, he's just on one base, so eventually Dexter will definitely outscale him. And the Reaver's such a good choice at shutting down the Terran in his bio, as well as countering the Protoss long term as well. That shuttle is super low, so he'll have to be careful about how he deploys these Reavers. I doubt he's going to go for any harassment damage with it from now on, just using that shuttle to escort the Reavers around the map and deploy them in critical firing positions. And actually securing a quick mineral-only expansion is Dexter as well. Going to be jumping ahead to 3 base, while his teammate Voodoo down in the bottom left also getting a hatchery up.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit dire here for Team Red. Their attack did not work, and the expansions are just a little bit too far behind here in terms of timings. Link's gonna look for maybe a snipe on the High Templar. Not able to find anything here, so just gonna back away. Shuttle, bring in a probe over to the island. This is part of why going for an early shuttle is so good. You can start taking some of these island bases and hopping around. Just setting those up early is going to be very hard to break because neither player is looking towards drops at all on the red side.
Yeah, I mean, lurkers as well from Voodoo. This transition is going to really hinder the Protoss player in how he combats against Dexter. Reaver's in the main base as well, sniping both. There's beautiful pickup on the Reaver as well to deny that shot connecting. He's in so much trouble. He's going to have to pull all of his army back into the main base to defend against this. And he's still going to lose quite a few probes in the process. That shuttle is super low, though. He needs to be careful. He doesn't get this shuttle sniped with the Reavers inside. He actually might want to just leave the Reavers to fight so he doesn't risk the shuttle going down with the Reavers inside and getting as maximum value trades as possible, catching a few High Templars as well as probes. Nemu only on 19 probes. Dexter hasn't yet taken that island base. The Terran moving into a position to shut down this mineral-only 3rd base attempt from Dexter. He's got quite a lot of tanks with bio supporting it, so he might actually be successful in killing this Nexus.
Yeah, he needs to get more than this, though. His ally is almost out of this game with only 19 probes remaining. He can still kind of start to bring it back here and get his natural online, but he's got to wait for a robo, and then he's got to get an observatory, and then he can finally get an observer out to start pushing away those lurkers, unless his opponent wants to help him out with some scans. That's the only way to do it. So as SCV Force pulls in here, he's gonna end up taking some big shots from these Reavers, it looks like. Yeah, no target fire on those Reavers. Unsiege at kind of an unfortunate moment, and the Marines are gonna get cleaned up really nice and quick. The flank from the Zealots is something, but I don't think it's going to save this attack, and everything's going to be thrown back here before the damage can really be done. Only the 3rd base goes down, and there are multiple additional bases going up around the map for Team Blue.
Yeah. A little bit overly ambitious from SDV Force to have his tanks that far out of position. Would have been better to more tentatively leapfrog those forwards to deny such a valuable engagement from Dexter. He's going to be overrun. Meanwhile, Dexter taking that island expansion at the 3 o'clock, and his teammate Voodoo racing ahead in his drone count, now up to 35 drones. He's going to really outscale Nemu as well. This is going to get all kinds of crazy. It's going to shuttle in probably some probes to the island expansion to get that online as quickly as possible. Because Nemu is so far behind the curve of this game, it does look like Team Blue are going to outscale them the longer this goes on. Technically, High Templars are the counter to Reavers, but he's been outplayed in this game, so he's having a hard time finding a foothold.
Yeah, the cannons here in the main base are just not good enough to hold back the Reavers. They were able to break through and kill so many probes, and just not having the detection on time for the lurkers, and taking all that early damage from the Reaver from the bottom side as well. Nemu's really been having a hard time in this series in general, and this game is no different. He is less than half the opposing Protoss players' worker count, and so he's just struggling here. SCV Force is getting bigger and bigger. He's got the Marine tank army. It's a strong army type. It's a strong composition. But, I mean, we're going to see... Oh, we're not going to see, actually, a transition into Hive. Not yet, anyway. Okay, maybe this is it? No, not quite.
Nope. Seems like Hydra Lurker is going to be the aim of the game here. Just have as much muscle, plenty meat on the bone for Team Red to have to chew through in this game. Oh, the tactical snipe on the High Templar is so painful. He's already got such little to offer his teammate in this game, and half of his utility just went down the drain. He's going to try and get up on top of this high ground position with one single High Templar to throw down a little bit of blanket of Psionic Storm, but Reaver's very well positioned in the back line. Can't really snipe those. Hydra's now coming in to support him as well. Voodoo doing a great job of maintaining a healthy composition as well as economy behind us. He's getting a third base online, and the Lurkers will help counter the bio that's supporting these Terran tanks, making it easier for Voodoo to break through that. But pretty good setup from SCV Force, fighting back strong as well. He melts a lot of Dragoons in the process. Seems like they're going to try and collapse on his position, but the Reaver goes down. Shuttle super low. Lurkers, though, getting up on top of these tanks from the flank. They are still going to overrun SCV Force despite him fighting well.
Yeah, he's got nothing back at home. Nemu not able to join up with his forces. I mean, if they had all the Dragoons and Zealots together with a bunch of Storm,
yeah,
think about how much harder that would have been to break with all the tanks there.
Right.
You have to be so much more careful in running up onto the tanks when there's Storm available to just blanket everything. So, kind of coming true what you were talking about before, right? Is the difficulty of getting a Terran and Protoss army together when you're going for that 2v2 squad. The counterattack here, it's looking hard to make this work, and with the Observer going down, it's even harder. There's only one Lurker here, but pretty soon there's going to be a lot more, and back at home he's losing his natural. SCV Force's natural is gone, and there's just so many bases on the map for Team Blue.
Yeah, he sniped the Observer in the bottom left as well, so that one tactical Lurker really providing a lot of value. He does have a lot of army showing up to clear that out either way, so Voodoo would be fine. It's going to be a GG. There's no way Terran can 1v2 after losing the expansion, and we're finally going to another advantage for Dexter and Voodoo as they take a 3-2 game lead.
It's actually 3-3. Shun. 3-3.
Oh, my bad. 3-3.
Yeah, game 5 went to SCV Force.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah. My bad.
And Nemu. So we're actually all tied up here for the final game, guys. This is for all the marbles. $50 on the line. And it's all going to come down to this, guys. Game number 7. Let's get it started.
Let's get it. Spawning here in the top left on Terran, SCV Force. And his teammate in the bottom right on Zerg, Nemu. And they're going to be playing against, up here in the top right on Zerg, Voodoo. And his teammate in the bottom left, last but not least, Dexter on Protoss.
So once again, a cross here, but we're back to the original. TZ versus ZP. This is where they were, I think, the closest matched. With some really good timings from SCV Force and Nemu. Definitely seemed like they were struggling with the TP, so I'm glad they didn't get it here again.
Yeah, I kind of prefer this to some of the other matchups we've been seeing. This time around, we're on the map all or nothing. It's got these semi-island bases at the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock here with some temples blocking. So it can be a nice base to take, but there are counter-attacking options, so not as defendable as Foi is. And you do have a similarity to some of these other maps where you've got this massive choke that leads into 2 close bases that you can expand to early. Very interesting map. Kind of like a hodgepodge of quite a few different maps rolled into one. Like there's a little bit of everything, but the main takeaway is that in the main bases there's these temples that block a second gas. So both players actually do have access to a second gas, but it's hidden underneath that temple.
Yeah, we found out last time that you can actually take that gas before killing the temple, but you can't mine it. So it's kind of an interesting interaction there. We haven't seen that before. It's always funny what the map makers come up with, but definitely would be interesting to see what that would be like in 1v1, but in 2v2 it seems to be kind of a non-factor. Like they don't seem to take it very often, right? Like having an extra gas early doesn't make that much of a difference in 2v2.
Yeah, it's also, you know, not optimally mined. It is quite far away, so you'd have to mine it with like 4 or 5 workers to get the maximum value. I guess you could make like a hatchery closer towards it to optimize that mining. He just killed an SCV with his probe harassment. That's already a pretty big win for Team Red here. Dexter doing some great harassment with that probe, already taking out one of the SCVs of SCV Force. Yeah, definitely going to be giving them a lot of confidence in this early game. It might not seem like a big deal to you guys, but losing an STV, that's, you know, 50 minerals a minute you're not actually getting. So in like 2 or 3 minutes time, the Terran is behind schedule by almost a whole barracks worth of minerals. It's a pretty big deal.
Nothing he could do there. It was an Artosis SCV. Went to the wrong side. Is what it is. Totally. One of the big RNG things about Broodwar is just the way that the SCV moves. And unfortunately moved in the wrong direction there for him. Nemu has, again, this double hatchery build. He's going to try to hang on with just 1 sunken colony. And double hatch worth of production. I think he's going to be okay here. And happy to see that he's not going to be messing up his mining this time with the building placement. Looks like everything's going to be mining just fine there. He should be able to make a lot of lings to be able to hold this off and buy enough time for this Marine Medic to come online.
Yeah, it seems so. But I mean, you know, there's options here. Dexter can... Oh, he's actually going to try and drill the ramp with some drones to break out. The red team really want to just wall in Nemu right now and not allow the map control of these Zerglings to come online in a big way. And this could be a big deal if he breaks down this ramp. It looks like he's going to kill the Zealots at least. Now he just has some Zerglings to handle. There are a few pairs of Lings coming down from Voodoo to reinforce this, and utilizing the bottom of the ramp can find favorable trade. So it's still going to be a little bit tricky for Nemu to break down here. Both Zergs have 2 hatchery production, so it's pretty even. But obviously there's that defender's advantage for Nemu that he was trying to exploit. But seems like Voodoo taking better trades overall.
Yeah, defending the bottom of the ramp, Voodoo gets the bit of an advantage there. Oh gosh, he's got to be careful. If you just keep throwing away Lings down this ramp, eventually we could see Voodoo just overwhelmed, come in and kill the sunken colony. You got to be careful not to take too bad of trades. But look at this. Double Gateway Dragoon is what Dexter's been investing into. Not going for that cannon style in this game, trying to get cannons on his teammates ramp. Oh, the medics are running. Actually, he's just gone ahead and stimmed. He's just going to try to run up this ramp. Oh my goodness. He's actually going to do big damage here. If he gets up the ramp, on top of the ramp. Okay, loses the fire, but that's a little bit rough. Gets on top of the ramp with the medic. It might be really good, but he loses the medic before he can even get in here. How much damage can he do in the meanwhile? How many drones can he kill here before the Dragoons finish this off?
Like 3 drones or so. I wouldn't say that's enough. I feel like he needs to kill like 5 drones or so to really make this worth it. Dexter's played a little bit greedy in this game, rushing into Dragoons like this. So the fact that he's not going to be punished, he got away with making hardly any Zealots, and Voodoo was able to still contain Nemu for long enough that now it looks like Team Red might be in the driver's seat, especially getting that Spire online. Scan comes down to see that. We're going to have to see a Spore set up here from Nemu to make sure he's well defended, but he has got the hatchery in the main base, so he only has to defend 1 location with spores, so he's pretty optimized in doing that, and he's got good, you know, position to mine his minerals than he did in the earlier game. But we're on the last final game of the series, and it already looks like Team Red in a pretty confident, commanding position.
Yeah, it's looking scary here. He's got to build a bunch of spores, and he kind of has to build sunken colonies too, because the dragoons can come in, combo with the lings, and make it really, really hard to hold. You can't defend the ramp. Oh god, the lings are going to get trapped. The lings are fully surrounded here and killed. And now there's really nothing left. He's got to build sunken colonies. I'm surprised he's not trying that right now, but I guess there's Marines running over towards this ramp. Sunken's going to finish up just in the nick of time, though. Wow. Shut this down. They should be going for a Z because this is not going to do much.
I mean, Dexter and Voodoo are like defensive geniuses, man. They've really outclassed SCV Force and Nemu in this series. It's not like SCV Force and Nemu are bad. They're really good players and they really understand 2v2. It's just that Voodoo and Dexter have been a little bit ahead of the curve in most regards, and their understanding of the timings and how to reactively gear up for the later stage of the game is just better, it has to be said. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Now Nemu's in a lot of trouble because as soon as these Dragoons get inside his main base, even if he's got like 3 or 4 Sunkens, it's not going to be enough. He's going to get absolutely obliterated, and Terran has been whittled down to a nub. He can't come across the map and support him anytime soon. Nemu's in trouble, man.
Yeah, Nemu might be going down right here, right now, and I don't see an option for counterattack. Reaver is out already. Oh, God.
Wow.
Well, he's already got the counter to the bio play, so I don't see how Team Blue can even win from here. This is a kill. On to Nemu, 100%. Nothing that pops out of these eggs could possibly save him, and he's only got lings to rely on, so... he's going to be tapping out here soon, and the bio that's coming out is just not going to make any headway. He can make, 4 sunken colonies up here on high ground, and it would still be optimal here for Zerg.
And the Reavers are going to defend the expansion of Dexter as well. There is no real way of coming back in this game. Good mana from Nemu saying GG, well played. I don't think Terran can 1v2 this. He can't break the Zerg. He's got a dropship actually, so he could just circumnavigate those Sunkens, get into the main base, maybe turn this into a 1v1. Maybe there's a small chance for him, but Protoss is already set up with an expansion as well. He's got 2 groups of bio to load up into this dropship, so he can do an elevator into the main base if he wants to, or just use the other squad of bio to hold the ramp at the low ground and prevent reinforcements. So he might get technically a kill here, but the Reaver comes in to try and save him. 2 Zealots and a Reaver with good Scarabs. There's no way this bio will be successful. He's going to try and break the ramp for a second and thinks better of it. So yeah, still defensive mastery here from Voodoo and Dexter, smacking down any attempt at counterplay.
Gonna go back into the main base. I guess you have to pick up that Reaver and go and deal with this, but we'll be able to deal with it. We'll be able to take out these Marines, and there's not much that really SCV Force can say about it. Nice hot pickup, but Scourger here. And there it is again. Very nice defense from Voodoo Dexter. Beautifully done. A great series here, going 3-2, or sorry, 4-3, excuse me. Yeah. For Voodoo Dexter. They take home $25 each, that $50 prize. Give it up for these 2 guys. Absolute beasts in 2v2.
Yeah, no, really stellar stuff from them. Got to take your hat off to it. It's not easy to play reactively in 2v2. It's actually usually better to be the proactive team, setting the tempo with, pressure plays and early 2v1 strategies. And they did a little bit of that. There was some, tempo shifts they did in the early game to establish map control and deny the 2 players linking up. But overall, their defensive mastery was like pretty much second to none. They make a really strong team, man. Dexter himself, a BSL player. He's very good individually. So is Voodoo, a very strong player individually. But the main thing was their teamwork and natural chemistry, being able to smack down anything that came their way. I'm just really impressed with their ability to work together as a team to shut down any aggressive timings.
Yeah, and I really like the aggressive timings from our other squad as well, especially shining through on Iron Curtain. That combo attack with the Marine and SCV bust of the cannons, followed up by the Vulture drop, was pretty sick. They managed to get some really strong wins, but couldn't quite take the series. They put on a very good show for us, though, today. And guys, our main event is coming right up here. It's on the left side of your screen right now. The SLON Tour with Scan and Lei versus Ziki and Gargoyle is about to begin.
That's going to be super sick, man. I mean, Scan's a pro gamer. He's really good at the game. He's played a lot of 2v2 in the past as well, so he understands what he's doing. Ziki, he's a way better 1v1 player than a 2v2 player, but he has got such good overall micro that he still will be able to be super strong in this game. I'm looking forward to this one, man. Let's get into it and get started. Shift tab. Spawning here in the top left on Zerg, Ziki. That Hungarian dragon. And his teammate on the left-hand side of the map. On Terran, Gargoyle. On the same side this time, no 1v1s. On the top right, Scan, the pro gamer. On Zerg. And his teammate in the bottom right, playing Protoss Lei. I imagine Scan will be on random for this 2v2 series. Despite being a Terran main, he is a very competent player with all three races, and would be no surprise for him to be on that random.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fan favorite here. Scan plays in ASL. Is an incredible personality. Speaks English and gives a lot to the English community. Has casted ASL before in StarCast TV. He's just a huge asset for all of us in the English-speaking community who love StarCraft Brood War. And so it's a great honor to be casting him here in this 2v2 tournament. So cool to see him taking an interest in the SLON 2v2 scene.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it. And he's turned his image around. I mean, like, way back when, I'm talking like 15 years ago or so, he was known as this, like, bad manner guy that kind of, like, always disrupted foreigner tournaments, utilizing his dual citizenship passports to absolutely wipe the floor of everyone and trash-talking everyone. But, I mean, in these last, like, 10 or so years, he's completely changed into a different character, and he's a much more well-respected and well-mannered individual, and definitely a credit to have him in the StarCraft scene. He is elected to go for an overpull here, whereas it seems like up here in the top left, Ziki, I think he did more or less the same thing. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like he's, he looks like he's pretty mirror build. So they're gonna, maybe gas before. So he's got a gas advantage over Scan, like an overgas build to optimize for muteless timings, and probably because they're on a semi-island positioning, like both teammates are on the same side of the map, so we won't see quite the same amount of shenanigans as before. But Lei is changing things up. He's hopped over a probe after making that pile, and he's going for proxy gates to put a lot of pressure onto Gargoyle here. He's going to have to bunker his mineral line. Yeah,
Gargoyle has set up his base like he's playing on an island, you know? He's just not really playing with a very nice setup here, so he's gonna have a hard time holding on against this 2-gate play. He does have the factory close enough, but these two supply depots are way too far away, and he built this way over here, so it's gonna be hard to maneuver his further Marines into this bunker. Like, it's gonna be very hard for him to get over here. So losing these supply depots is brutal. However, Lings are coming down, so Lings can come over and help. Meanwhile, there's not really an opportunity for Scan to assist unless he wants to bring Lings with a drone to try and hop the wall.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Scan's just going to optimize for his muta timing. He's taking his natural expansion with that hatchery, being a little bit greedy, but he can get away with it on this semi-island configuration. Lei's a very competent player, so he's just going to go straight up to those depots. He knows that's the point of weakness. Ziki going to be getting a snipe on this gateway, though, shutting down the Zealot production. making it easier for Gargo to stabilize, who will be eventually getting vultures out. But because he lost the depots, it's actually going to take a long time before those vultures are online. So he's relying on his teammate Ziki to kind of stabilize things for him by killing that gateway.
Taking a look at the Spire timings, looks like Scan got a slight edge there, and he's also going to be finishing up his natural in just a moment. So the natural is going to be done. He's going to have a gas advantage, and that's kind of where the Scan Lay team is going to find their win condition is just overwhelming in the air. Ziki, that will be kind of impossible to come back from, because Gargoyle is not going to be able to help him in that regard.
Yeah, the thing to point out is that Ziki's having to make Zerglings and help his teammate Gargoyle out, whereas Scan has done nothing but be greedy and make drones. So he is way more optimized in the air superiority battle soon. Ziki's going to have a hard time keeping up with him at this pace. Ziki is taking that natural expansion at long last to finally start to get on the way, but Scan is definitely going to outscale him despite Ziki taking this faster gas.
Yeah, it's going to make some Scourge here immediately. Wants to put the pressure on right off the bat. Could kill this Overlord too. Might go for that, might not. Nah, just going to let it live for now. Much more important to just get over here and dive on top of these mutas. He's been able to make more mutas and Scourge as well immediately because he's got that extra. Oh, he actually gets a kill on the Scourge. He gets both the Scourge. That was really good micro. That was really good micro from Ziki to kill both the Scourge, but I'm not sure it's going to matter. The Zealot coming over here to just start banging away at the Spore Colony. All he needs to do is open up the mineral line so that Scan can do his work. And he's almost got that Spore Colony. 30 HP on that. Does survive. Overlord's going to be spotted. Looks like Scan can go to work on that. They managed to at least live. Oh my goodness. Vultures hop over. He utilized the barracks over there by the minerals to actually hop this over, and he's getting a lot of kills. You know, this is a big commitment from Lay to just keep making Zealots all that time, so he didn't really have that much economy behind this. Didn't really have anything back at home, so he loses a bunch of probes. Oh my gosh, the mutas.
Ziki killing. This is really good play from Ziki and Gargo. Scan went down to help defend his teammate from taking critical damage to the probe count, but as a result has paid the price of a few drones, and now he's trying to intercept the Mulist of Scan with some Scourge in conjunction to zone them out. Some Scourge of Scan going to buy a little bit of safety and trying to force back the Mulist of Ziki just for a few seconds for Scan to micro down against those Scourge and stabilize. He does have 2 gas advantage. Ziki will eventually have his own, but he's still having to deal with the Zealot pressure coming from Lay. He's still got 1 gateway online that just now got taken out, so he's been able to drip feed a few Zealots to put on pressure to Ziki to stop him being able to scale well against Scan.
Man, Ziki really showing his class in this game. Like the way that he was able to hold off the initial attack from Scan, that was really, really clutch. Just picking off those Scourge at the critical moment, and then gets an Overlord here. He's just caught a bunch of mutas with his Scourge, and he hasn't allowed any Scourge to connect with his own mutas. So he's done a fantastic job hopping over here with the Goliath. Can now use that as a bit of point defense so the Scourge can never connect. He's still hopping over. This is a scary force right now. Goliath plus Mutalist with Scourge. I don't think there's any way to hold this unless he's got a bunch of Sunkens.
Yeah, he needs a Sunken. It's going to be really slow. There was a Zealot that was in the main base of Ziki. I'm not sure if he killed the Spore. I think the Spore barely survived. He tried to get a tactical snipe on that with a Zealot. And now there's a lot of pressure on Scan. He's got 9 mutas in the sky, but with Goliath with Karen boosters on the ground, as well as Mutalist Scourge for Ziki in the air. Duncan is on the way. It's just about to finish up, but they're already on top of it. Scan, in a little bit of moment of desperation, does finish up with that Duncan holding the line by the skin of his teeth, saying this was a really clutch defense from Scan. He's barely hanging on, but manages to pull it out.
Yeah, he barely lived there. It's too bad that they didn't go for the ally here because he's so low. Ally has nothing right now. 1 Dragoon is all he could muster before that attack could have come in and killed this base. He's been so greedy to try to get back into it, but it's actually going to pay off. And now these Goliaths here don't really have enough support in the air. Goliaths do have Charon boosters, so being helped by the Goliaths on the other side of the mineral patches at the very least, but there's just not quite enough stuff to break. And so Lei will get away with all this greed. At the end of the day, 2 base for Lei, 2 base for Scan, but no second base here for Gargoyle. He's just going to start it now.
Yeah, I mean, I really like how Gargoyle is trying to work with Ziki to disrupt Scan, but it's just not been enough. And now they're going to get away with their greed in this game. And yeah, the Terran's expansion really lagging behind. Ziki not quite on the same drone saturation as Scan as well. They really need to stop these Mutalisks having such air superiority from Scan, but they've been unsuccessful. They're trying to catch it on the exit, getting the combination of the Goliaths and the Mutalisks together, but Scan able to circumnavigate disaster. And now with Dragoons out on the map, it's going to be almost impossible to get the Goliaths out on the field on the other side of the map to put pressure onto either player. Definitely seems like a favorite going towards Scan and Lei in this game. They're definitely ahead of the curve.
Yeah, Scan going to make a quick move here into the main base of the Terran player. There are Scourge and Mutas coming in to try and support, but this command center is under a lot of threat. Can he actually get a connection? He does get 1 Muta, but will cost him a lot. There's way too many Mutas here for Scan, so he can't stand and fight. Takes a lot of damage there, and now going to go to work on the SCV line. Flying through now over here to the natural of Ziki. Can they save this base? Can they finally deal with these Mutas? Bunch of Goliaths coming in here to help out, but he can just dive back over towards these mineral lines, or he can fly straight on out. Ziki and Lei are really coming into their own now, and it's just hard to imagine Gargoyle and Gargoyle and Ziki hanging on, but they're gonna give it their best shot here. Armor coming up for both sides, both Zerg players getting that armor upgrade. No upgrades yet for the Terran though.
Yeah, I definitely favor Scan and Lei's position. It's going to be so tough for them to fight back. Goliaths are just so immobile that as long as Scan has their superiority, he can have a field day running around the map like this, taking out the Spore that's covering the Spire. Ziki now has to win the air battle. Has got a couple of Scourge in here that find connections, but if he loses his fight, he's in trouble. 3 more Mutas showing up for Scan. There's a couple of Goliaths making their way up to try and hold this, but it looks like the Spire is going to go down. Gets the cancellation on that Carapace upgrade, so not only can Ziki not make Mutalisks right now, but now Scan's going to have an upgrade advantage as well as sniping more drones.
Yeah, he's gonna get even more drone damage here, and although Ziki did a great job holding off the Mutas initially, there's just been little pokes and prods here and there since they lost that fight trying to kill Scan earlier, that have kind of dislodged the economic position for Ziki. Only 15 drones left, and there's no opportunities to try and hammer back at either Scan or Lei. They're just kind of holding on, hanging on, and trying to stay alive here, while Lei and Scan setting up for the next move, elevatoring over this wall with a ton of Dragoons and putting on the pressure, looking for that final blow. He's even getting a 3rd gas up, though, just doubling down, tripling down on the Mutalist play, and this is a scary force.
Yeah, it's really good play from Scan to just make the hatchery to mine the gas only, so there's no risk of the hatchery being sniped over that wall. And now the Mutalisks fighting in conjunction with those Dragoons is going to be a nightmare for the Goliaths. They're so weak against Dragoons, and they're out of position to boot as well. It'd be one thing if they were fighting in this choke, but being caught out like this is pretty much over. Gargoyle calls GG. A very quick game number 1 win for Scan and Lei, which had all the answers in this game. They played so well despite being so greedy.
Very solid game number 1. Again, guys, this is a best of 5. Definitely Scan is a scary opponent, but there were for sure some opportunities there for Team Ziki.
Yeah.
They almost could have had that win if a couple more things had gone their way. Maybe attacking Lei rather than Scan. It's like that Protoss player was wide open for such a long time as he was trying to get back online. He really took some liberties. in terms of greed, taking that very fast Nexus after the fact, but we'll see how they do on a more traditional 2v2 map, right? It's kind of a crazy one to start off on Iron Curtain. There's a bit of a wild map, kind of no matter how the spawns, no matter how the spawns turn out. But we're gonna be moving on to Gaia now, jumping into game number 2, guys. Let's get it started.
Let's get it, guys. Spawning here at the 12 o'clock position on Zerg, the Hungarian Dragon, Ziki. And at the 6 o'clock, his teammate on Terran, Gargoyle. And they're going to be facing up down here in the bottom left on Protoss, Lay. And his teammate, none other than Scan, the pro gamer, on Zerg.
I'm going to be cheering for Scan in this next ASL. I hope he does really well.
Yeah.
Bit of a kiss here from the Overlords.
In the last round of 24, he did pretty good, man. Like, he's had a few rough showings because ASL is just one of those events where it really is like the best of the best, and even these like pretty good pro gamers really struggle. Like, there's so many pro gamers that just don't make the grade. But Scan actually, you know, he's done well recently. He's finally got wins on the board, and he could, you know, technically become a round of 16 player eventually. It will take him a little bit of hard work and dedication, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah, absolutely, it's possible. I thought he might be making it through to that round in this last season, but it's just impressive to even be getting into the ASL, really. And he's been struggling to get any wins. Really glad he got a couple of wins this season. Hopefully he can do even better in the next one, guys. That'll be in March, and Shun and I will be casting the ASL once again in March.
Yeah.
Terran gonna be blocking off this ramp. And what do we have for the pool builds? This is always a weird situation when Overlord is in your main base, like immediately right off the bat when you start the game, because having the later pool is just better. And it looks like Ziki has the later pool here. He just played that game of chicken, built the pool just a little bit later, and takes a little bit of an advantage because of it.
Yeah, I just want to quickly point out, the Scan did get into the round of 16 in ASL 19. He didn't actually qualify for ASL 20, but he did go out of his group 2-1 alongside Mini over Carmen Shuttle, right? So he actually did manage to do it already, and I think he could do it again. Like, he's one of those guys that he's a really talented player. He's just always struggled when it comes to fighting against the best of the best. And in recent years, he's turned it around a little bit. I'm sure he could do it again. And he is a fan favorite, so it would be nice to see him show up here. But yeah, 2-gate opening from Lay, getting a Forge to back it up so we can start cannoning up as well. This is a really nice tight Ling wall in from Ziki on the ramp. It's going to be tough. Scan could try and go for some 2-on-1 Ling trades to create a hole, but Ziki's a very good ZVZ player, so he's not, you know, unfamiliar with how to set up these Zerglings to deny that.
Yeah, he's ready for the attempt here in the main. He's got he had a slight drone lead. It looks like another drone was made on the side of Scan. One extra drone to even things out. Was going to be a cannon attempt here from Lay, but it gets pushed away. He actually still has the probe out on the map, so he can come over here and start to set up cannons on the high ground for Scan. Will allow him to be a little bit more greedy and not focus on, you know, building Lings as much. Can just focus on that air, the air battle a little bit more, building more mutas. And you can see he's actually having to build a Ziki's gonna have to build a safety sunken here just to make sure that he doesn't die, which Scan will not have to do. He can kind of optimize for this mutalist timing.
He's actually got a slightly faster ling speed. It doesn't matter. Both players have ling speed now. But the Spire timing more or less identical from either side. Lei trying to gain control of this ramp with the Zealots. There is a drone coming out from Ziki, so he could glitch these out and find favorable trades. But it does seem like he's going to be unsuccessful at holding that. 5 Zealots, too much to chew through. And going to be falling back to the safety Sunkens, just trying to buy some time for the other Sunken to come online to make sure he's super safe. 5 Zealots is really scary. This other Sunken probably will go down in this fight if he targets it. But luckily he's got this other Sunken that's much more easier to defend. So I think he'll be okay here, but he might still lose a few drones.
Yeah, it's very hard to hold 2v1. More lings coming in. Sunken Colony's in a really nice position, but it's just not quite good enough. Muta's starting to pop out here, but there's going to be Mutas on the side of Scan. He may even just make Scourge to come and finish this off. And yeah, just not quite there. Cannon on the way. Gargoyle just going to try to counterattack here. See if he can't get up onto this high ground before the cannon is finished. If he can, maybe there's a hope in this game. But if he can't get up here before the cannon is done, then it's just going to become impossible. Yeah, the cannon is finishing. Oh, he's going to dive on top of it with the 1 Muta. 1 Muta here to tank. Jump does run up this ramp. He's going to get on top of the cannon. Okay, the cannon is dead. There it is. Going to run in and try to kill all the probes. He goes after the pylon actually first. Pylon going to be the first target. Marines and Firebats at the top of the ramp are pretty hard to deal with. He's gonna go, he really wants to get inside the main base right now, try to kill as many probes as possible, see if he can't knock Lei out of this game and make it a 1v1. They'll want to allow that to happen, so pulling the probes away to the corner and trying to force the fight here. Really nice positioning for Gargoyle. It's gonna be so hard to get in on top of that with lings, and that Firebat's gonna do so much damage. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's not that many Marines, so I think they will eventually clean this up. Lei's got 8 probes remaining, so it's not quite the 1v2 scenario that Gargoyle was hoping for. He has got 20 STVs though, so with Lei only being on 8 probes and Scan on 9, maybe there's a way of making this work. The Firebat is trying to get some more snipes on these probes. Would be such a big deal for him if he could cripple the economy of Lei just a little bit further. Not quite finding that damage. He's going to try and go for round 2. He knows the gateways are unpowered, so Lei will not have anything to defend besides the Mutalisks of Scan in support.
Yeah, I mean, he should actually be able to kill this. That's a lot of Marines.
Maybe.
And there's only 3 more Mutas coming. So 5 Mutas total. If he kills 1 Muta, you can no longer one-shot. That was so close with the Marines to killing all every single Muta and just winning the fight. But he barely held. Really, Scan barely held with like 2-3 Mutas left over. This is a good this is some good control. Catching some of those Mutas, doing some damage to them before the fight even occurs. He gets rid of the pylon, stops the additional Zealots from being made. Just got to be really careful here in controlling this. Kills a Muta. Only 1 left. No longer can one-shot. 2 cannons coming up in the main base, but he can stay out of range here and just kill the Nexus, and he won't be able to make another one. If he just kills the Nexus here, it will be a 1 or a 2v1 or a 1v1. Excuse me. Oh my gosh!
The DPS though might just barely be enough to kill these Marines, despite not having that many Mutas. Absolute insanity. There's a few more trickle of bio units coming down to see if they can finish the job. There's another Mutalisk about to show up as well to go up to 5. It's so close. Gargoyle is so close to eliminating Lei, but he might not just barely be able to do it. There's now enough Mutas to one-shot yet again. But he does catch 1 of them. Now he's down to 4. This is insanity. Probes coming off the line yet again to help out in crushing these Marines in conjunction with the Mutas. So even without 5, he can more or less one-shot them down with the particle beams helping out. The repair, the heal of the medic, actually enough to tank those 3 Mutas. This is crazy. More bio coming down to try and finish the job, but the safety cannon is going to finish warping in. It's super low on HP. Maybe he can break it. He has got a lot of bio coming down here, and he did cripple the Muta count. Maybe enough to still get the job done. This is a crazy game.
Yeah, he's just barely alive right now. Scan is on 10 workers. Nobody's making any workers. Everybody is just barely trying to hang on. He's making a second cannon. This is breakable. It's breakable, but there's now 4 mutas. 4 mutas. Oh, the Marine! Oh no. My god, there's just so few Marines, man. There's so few Marines. He just needs a little bit more. He's actually got a radiate coming as well.
He could wait for the next bio group to get here before he pulls the trigger on breaking. There will be more cannons to fight, but it's an option. There's +1 for these mutas now, so even with 4, they can actually just barely one-shot Marines as long as they all connect at the same time with the glaives. He can also park his bio to snipe the gas off the Protoss, and you will have the Irradiate eventually to counter Scan. It looks like Scan's gonna rotate into the Terran's main base and see what finds a vessel that's a little bit exposed, but it can fly to the safety of some turrets. This is a crazy game, and there's the Irradiate. Not quite as good as the Irradiates we saw from SCV Terran, SCV Force rather, because he was always targeting the mutas that were underneath to make it harder to split that out. That was just an Irradiate on the top of the pack to get as much damage as possible. Now there's a lot of cannons finished up, but the mutas are out of position. Maybe there's still a way of breaking through. Probes trying to body block and deny surface area to those Marines. Cannons are starting to fall, though. The mutas are on the way to come and support this, but enough Marines remain that he could fight these Mutalisks.
Yeah, he could fight these mutas, and he's gonna have another Irradiate soon too. So once the Irradiate is over here, I think they've got it. I think Gargoyle is gonna be able to kill this. Probes off the line again, but they're fighting straight up with Marines. Medics are kind of blocking here, and the muta count is getting so damn low. Oh my gosh, the last muta falls, and GG. There it is.
No way.
What
Are
a
you kidding
game.
me, Sagan? What a game. One of the best comebacks we've ever seen in 2v2. Major respect to Gargoyle pulling that out of the bag. The composure that you need not to make mistakes in these situations and isolate the win condition. Major respect to him. I take my hat off to this guy, man. You slap down 2 really good players, Scan and Lei, getting taken on 1v2 in that spectacular fashion. We've now got a tied up series, 1 game apiece.
All right, well, that one definitely a highlight. Definitely a highlight game there. We saw some great games in previous series, but that type of intensity is hard to come by, even in 1v1. We're going to jump into our next one, guys. Avalon is our next map. Let's get it going.
Let's get it. Spawning here in the bottom left, the Hungarian dragon, Ziki. And his teammate in the top right, clutching it out last game on Terran, Gargoyle. And they're going up against, in the top left, on Protoss, Lei. And his teammate in the bottom right, on Zerg, the pro gamer, Scan.
Scan the man being pushed to the limit in terms of his Mutalisk micro in this series. Definitely Siki seems to be able to give him a run for his money. And even Gargoyle managing to take the win there through his bio control, holding off the mutas and taking reasonable trades. Not easy to do against a pro gamer, but you got to give him props. Gargoyle clutching it out there. Now, can these guys keep that momentum going? I mean, that felt like an underdog fight. That felt like a comeback there after losing the Zerg teammate. But Gargoyle found the win condition. How can they bring it back here in this next game?
You had that happen a lot in team games in StarCraft. If you commit a lot of resources into killing a player, you kind of open up yourself to counter damage, right? Like, if you've made such an investment on killing someone, you can't have everything set up defensively back at home. And Gargoyle found like razor thin margins to exploit as a result. Not easy to pull off against a pro gamer and such a high quality of class of player in Lei as well. These guys are seriously good gamers individually, and they all understand 2v2 reasonably well. I think Gargoyle is better in 2v2 than Zeki is in 2v2, but individually, Zeki's a very potent player as well. Some of the best foreigner micro that we have in a Zerg.
And Zeki, once again, has a slightly later pool, so he's actually got the edge here in the ZVZ match. He's going to have one extra drone. Slightly later links. It's not going to matter too much. Double racks coming out from Gargoyle this time. Okay. Going for that bio build again. And double gateway here. So there's definitely going to be a lot of pressure on Zeki. He's got to hold on until the Terran player gets online. Where is he going to place his sunken colony? Because he definitely is going to need one.
Well, I mean, it's probably, you could either place it underneath the pool or underneath the gas. Either way, you're going to, put your spire in the location that you don't put the sunken. Mm-hmm. So those two spots are the most optimal to drill. He might put the sunken underneath the pool and the spire underneath the gas. That might be slightly more optimal for SimCity. He's really good at holding the ramps, though. Zeki's such a good 1v1 Zerg versus Zerg player that his positioning of the Zerglings are really good. Like, he's always going to be shuffling these around to deny value in these guys jostling for position. As you can see, this position at the bottom left pretty strong with being able to place a creep colony relatively close to the ramp. It's not quite as good as the top right spawn, but it's good enough. This is still going to help cover a lot of this space as they try and pressure up the ramp. 3 Zealots now making their way in. Sunken's on the way. He just needs to hold for another 10-20 seconds and he'll be okay. Does chew through 2 of those Zealots. Sunken now online. The Sunken doesn't completely cover the ramp, but it's good enough.
It's good enough. It hangs on. That was really close, man. If the Lings end up running past, then the Sunken can't cover the mineral line. So it's kind of a do or die situation there. If you don't manage to hold that ramp, it's kind of over. Oh, Marines actually walk by into the main base of Lei, get a kill. How many kills do you have? 2 kills actually on this Marine. So he's managed to kill a couple of probes so far. A little bit of a misfire there on the Nexus, but he gets another probe. So 3 probe kills. Pretty fantastic for just a tiny little run by with Marines. Nice moves from Gargoyle already.
You can see how high level these players are. Like, most Terran players wouldn't come out onto the map with like 2 or 3 Marines at the start unless they're very experienced and understand how the game is shaping up. So if you identify your ally as the one that's under pressure, you know that getting the run by of the Marines is a likelihood, so you know to pull the trigger on that. We got the pressure play now. 3 Zealots making a hole in the defensive line. Zerglings getting a pretty good surround on that Sunken. Zeki trying to fight that strong. He's making a backup Sunken, but that Spire is now going to be exposed. That backup Sunken not going to be enough to save that. He's going to easily get a kill on that Spire no matter what happens. Drone Drill coming online to try and keep this Sunken up, but it's not good enough, man. He is being overrun right now. The timings of Lei and Scan too much to handle. Zeki is going to be taken down.
Yeah, Zeki didn't have a great choice here, right? He kind of had to save Larva to make mutas so that he wouldn't die to the mutas of Scan, but he also needed Lings to hold the rep. So like, he didn't really have a lot of choices here. And unfortunately, Terran wasn't able to come down in time to kind of help him out. Is what it is, man. We get a pretty quick win here for Scan and Lei. GG. We'll hop right into the next one.
Now on Anaconda, the big brother, symmetrical partner to Python, spawning in the top left on Zerg, the pro gamer, Scan. And his ally in the top right on Protoss, Lei. And they're facing off at the bottom hemisphere of the map in the bottom right. Ziki, the Hungarian dragon, on Zerg. And his teammate in the bottom left, last but not least, Gargoyle on turn.
All right. Match point now for Scan and Lay. $50 on the line. Courtesy of SLON. This show match.
Ooh.
And look at this. Proxy gates from Lay. Gonna put on the early pressure. He doesn't know who he's actually proxying right now, but it's actually gonna be Ziki who's gonna be under pressure.
I think this works out better for them that it's Ziki and not Gargoyle. I think this is better to proxy the Zerg rather than the Terran. So it's actually going to work out well for them. Got an overpull build here from Ziki. It's great that he's not going for Hatchery first, or he might just be dead. So he will have a fighting chance against this, but needs to identify this as quickly as possible. The second Overlord is in the path of this proxy, but by the time it spots it, we'll already have a lot of pressure coming his way. Meanwhile, we've got Scan, who's also kind of going for a very fast pull gas to support this. So despite being cross-mapped to Ziki, will not take him too long, especially once that speed is done, to come here and put so much pressure on, and Gargoyle won't be able to do much to help Ziki for a very long time.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to spot it right now. Will have to throw it on his Sunken Colony immediately. No real choice about that. You can see the probes in here trying to like block up a little bit, maybe try to stop that. Yeah, I don't see the Sunken Colony just yet. There it is. Okay, Sunken Colony drops, get some Lings going. Gonna go for speed, Ling speed immediately. It's a 9 pull from Scan, so he's gonna have Lings out a little bit faster. He's gone for the speed. He's got 2 drones in gas, so we're gonna see a layer here soon. This is a lot of pressure, but Ziki could hold it. He is getting the Sunken Colony online really quickly, and drone drills are powerful.
And he's put a lot of damage onto the Zealot. Look at the Ling micro. A lot of them on low HP, but that Zealot almost dead, so won't be able to tank too much damage from this Sunken. And we'll take a little bit of time for Scan to get it with his Lings. And it does slow down the lair timing of Ziki, though. He kind of has to optimize for minerals here to make sure he can defend against this. Maybe he will think about making a second Sunken, or at least a bit of a better Sim City with a temporary Evo chamber once his attack finally comes online. For the time being, though, they'll have to wait for Scan to get down here with his Ling speed to really support this attack. And there's that second Sunken. It's definitely necessary. Yeah,
absolutely necessary. Living here is the main priority. Just stay alive so that Gargoyle can do something out on the map. Here comes 4 Zealots and a lot of Lings. Second Sunken is underway. It's not done yet, though. He throws down an emergency Evo chamber to try and clog up this area. Another... okay, gonna move it over just a little bit here to make it even harder to attack into. Another Sunken Colony on the way. Again, name of the game is just to live. Photon cannon on the low ground. Interesting. So they're gonna cannon this ramp and go and put pressure on Gargoyle instead.
That's why I was saying O2 just a second ago, because I saw that Forge finishing up for Lay, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're just going to cannon the ramp. Like, the strategy wasn't to kill Ziki, it was to force Sunkens, delay the lair, and now they're going to contain him on the ramp with Zealots, as well as cannon him in. This is going to get really problematic for Team Blue here, because they're not going to be able to join forces for a very long time. Ziki's had his tech time, he's completely dismantled, having to defend against this pressure play. He's got a second hatchery on the way, but it's going to be a long time coming until he gets off the ground again with his own tech. Meanwhile, Scan, he will not be slowed down at all. He's going to be going into that Spire now, about halfway done. And this is definitely a very tactical play from Scan and Lay. I don't know how Gargoyle and Ziki are going to react to this, because once the Terran comes out onto the map, they can then join forces, the Zerglings and the Zealots putting pressure onto that, while the Cannons and the Zealot hold the ramp of Ziki.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of Lings, a ton of Zealots here. I mean, I feel like Gargoyle is walking out into a death trap. He's going to turn around and try to run away. Fire Bats are doing their job, getting a lot of splash damage here. Really good control on the Fire Bat. Just have it tucked in the corner between all of the Marines and Medics and actually getting a lot of damage. I don't know how many kills that is, but still a ton of damage regardless. That does go down. Pretty decent control overall from Gargoyle. I thought that this would get just destroyed way easier.
Most Terrans would have died there, yeah. He's done a good job of slowing this down. He's still in trouble, but yeah, a lot of Terrans would not be able to deal with these kinds of situations. It's buying him a few valuable seconds to make more bio, but how is he going to deal with the Mutalisk threat in the air from Scan? The Zerglings helping out on the ground a little bit as well, and the Protoss player not impeded at all, whereas his teammate Zeke completely contained right now. It's going to take him so long to finally get online with his own tech. He's got Spore set up to defend against the Mutalisks of Scan, but he's not even started a lair or anything. He's completely dead in the water against this so far.
Yeah, this is a masterful 2v2 play from Scan and Lei. They forced the hand of Zeke here. He really didn't have a choice. He had to make Sunkens. He had to delay his tech timings to just survive. If he hadn't built that, they would have killed him, right? They would have just gone in if there weren't enough Sunkens. But the moment that they saw enough Sunkens, they immediately pivot, change the game plan, and boom. Insane advantage here for Scan and Lei, and there's really nothing that either of these two players can do about it. A very low econ game here on both sides, but Scan and Lei masterfully maneuvering it. Let's see if there's anything Gargoyle can do right now and try to buy time so that Zeke can get online.
Yeah, it is possible. I mean, the Dragoon range has just now started. Singularity Charge a little bit of a way away until that finally comes online. But I mean, maybe he can do it. I mean, there's a big investment from Lei to put this pressure on early. It's a very well thought out, multi-layered pressure build from Lei and Scan. But Lei could be in a little bit of trouble now. He kind of is relying on Scan to dominate with his mutas. If he targets down these mutas one at a time, but the medic's getting caught out. That's already a big win for Scan. If somehow Gargoyle can deal with these mutas in the sky, he will be able to apply a lot of pressure to the Protoss. But Scan has pretty good Mutalist micro, so it's going to be really tough. Zealots and Dragoons also coming in here to have a field day with the Marines while they're distracted by the Mutalists, so that he is going to go on a cleanup on R5 and deal with his Bioforce, and that takes a lot of the wind out of the sails in Gargoyle's potential counterplay.
Yeah, that's rough. Gargoyle had one move there to come out on the map with that bio and try to get something done, but dismantled by Scan and Lei. And now Scan rotating around this Terran base. He's going to find points of weakness, points where he can start to deal a little damage here and there and just give Lei more and more of a lead, because Lei is the one who's probably going to end up finishing off Gargoyle. He's just going to get ahead. He's going to have that big this big Protoss force. He's going to get some splash damage to deal with this bio, and he's going to end up taking this game home. All Scan needs to do is just keep him in check for now and keep ahead of Zeke in terms of mutas for the rest of this game.
I think it's a bit of a mistake from Lei to go inside the main base of Zeke. He's giving more value to Zeke's Zerglings. He can't break down the ramp, but he can certainly hold his main base. Mutalist run by into the Terran main base, putting some damage onto the SCVs and turrets. Seems like Gargoyle has enough to thwart that and fight it off, but it is slowing down the Terran just a little bit. I mean, I don't know if there's a real answer here from Zeke to break out of this. These Dragoons will slowly eat away at his defensive line and get a tactical snipe on that gas if this pace continues. He's just now starting to produce Mutalist. Zerglings will help out a lot in slowing down these Dragoons from getting a snipe up on the gas. So Zeke's done a good job of denying that, and will finally, at long last, have a superior production to Scan. Scan's in a purely supporting role right now. Scan's playing like an OG Zerg and just holding it down with one hatchery production, with map control, with the Lings initially and now the Mutalists. But eventually Zeke will outscale Scan in this game. But Scan doing a great job of crippling the SCV count of Gargoyle. Just 13 SCVs remaining now. That's insane, the amount of damage that has been done to Gargoyle.
Finally able to combine here. Zeke's army with Gargoyle's army actually putting the pressure on, and they killed the pylon over here as well, which is kind of huge. Our Muta's going to come over now to actually wipe out the Mutas of Scan, and really overwhelming numbers will definitely win out the situation. He's going to try to probably split these, but the moving shot will kill every Muta. Huge moment, a huge switch for Zeke has just been thrown. He is now online, and Scan is in scramble mode trying to get a Sunken, or a Spore, excuse me.
A Spore, yeah. This is an interesting turn of events because there is a way in which Gargoyle and Zeke pull this out of the bag. Zeke does have a lot more superior production to Scan. And to be honest with you, Lay's only just now getting into Robotech. It's going to be a long time coming until Lay is really heavily online. Getting those 2 gateways unpowered like that really crippled his own infrastructure and production. There is definitely a way for Gargoyle and Zeke to turn this game around. Lay has cannoned up the ramp of Scan, but Zeke could just circumnavigate these cannons and try and bully this Spore.
He is going to bully that Spore now. There's just a few Mutas popping up. 2 Mutas are going to pop out here in a moment. But he pulls the Muta. Oh, he loses 1 Muta to the Spore. That's a little bit rough. Chasing down the Muta now. He's going to get 1 of them. Diving into the main right now. There's actually some Mutas in here. Lots of Sunkens are coming up for Zeke. He's trying to hold on. Desperate to survive in this difficult situation. I think he's going to have enough Sunken colonies here, though. With just this amount, he's actually going to have enough. He's going to hold. There's only 4 Dragoons left, and they're all low. So he holds on. He lives. Oh my goodness, Shun. Scan is dead. Scan is dead. Gargoyle's online.
This is insane. This is insane. And I mean, Lay does have 3 gateways online in his main base now. It's taken him so long to get there, though. They've not been successful. They're just going to tap out. GG is cool. We're all tied up in this series, guys. Going to game 5, Zeke and Gargoyle fighting back so strong in this game. This is one of the best series we've cast in a long time, saying it's kind of hard to call. It looked like they were in so much trouble forever, but they just barely couldn't clutch it out. They didn't do enough damage to Zeke and Gargoyle, despite having a really good strategy.
Wow, that strategy was a killer. They really put Zeke and Gargoyle in a bind there, but managed to slowly wiggle out. Zeke coming online just in time to save Gargoyle's mineral line and go after Scan, who'd been so low econ for such a long time. What an incredible series here, guys. We're getting down to our last game of the night. It's going to be on Fawi and Fawi.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's go ahead and get this started.
Let's get it, guys. Spawning here in the top left on Terra and Gargoyle. Top versus bottom situation. His teammate in the top right on Zerg, the Hungarian dragon, Zeke. And they're facing off against Scan in the bottom right on that Zerg. And his ally in the bottom left, Lay on Protoss.
Guys, as we're starting this final game of the night, big shout out to SLON and the organizers for putting this on. And if you guys would like to support our duocast, come check us out on Patreon, Sanshin Duocast. We actually post all of the different duocasts that we do there. So even if you're not going to support, go over there and join so that you can get updates about different StarCraft tournaments that are going on and different duo casts that we're going to be doing in the future, because we're always open to doing little show matches and stuff like this for the community, and just representing and promoting StarCraft in whichever way we can.
Absolutely. We've been casting together for quite a few years now. It's been great. We started off with the KCM, a great little race war event tournament. If you haven't checked it out, please do, over on Sayan's YouTube channel, Sayan KCM, if you're watching on Twitch. This will also be uploaded to the YouTube channel as a VOD. Really excited to see how this particular show match concludes. This has been really back and forth, and honestly some of the most highest level 2v2 we've seen in a very long time. All these guys are really dialed in.
Yeah, these guys are so fun to watch. 2v2 is such an interesting and dynamic version of StarCraft Broodwar. And I think we're seeing the absolute pinnacle of that here today. Lei in the main base. Could have stolen the gas there, but decided against it. Might be coming back around to go ahead and do that now, though. It doesn't look like Gargoyle even interested in taking that. Getting the second barracks out.
Yeah.
Time for the gas steal. There it is. Okay. Gas steal timing just a lot different in 2v2.
Yeah, he's just optimizing his own timings back at home, making sure that, you know, he's squeezing out the zealots and probes on time and taking that gas at the last possible moment. He was pretty sure there wasn't going to be a factory build, so just wanted to delay taking that ever so slightly. Going to be a 2-gate from him. Ling's already coming out now as well from Scan, making their way downtown. Ziki holding the top of the ramp while rushing into Lair. Already putting some damage onto that gas steal to try and hopefully not be too late in his tech, but stealing the gas does set back the Terran by about 30 seconds or so with his stim and medic move out. Ziki should be fine at holding this ramp, at least for the time being. He's very adept at how he positions these Zergs. Zerglings in a good concave. You can do like an L shape to make it more simplified, but if you're an advanced Zerg, you want a kind of like slight curvature to the Zerglings to deny 2-on-1 snipes to make it harder for the other Zerg to break a hole in that line to exploit.
So he's going to be going for the Sunken Colony here again. That's a very nice Sunken Colony setup with the Spire there at the front. Nice thing about this map right now is that Lei is very far away. The Zealot goes down really quickly, actually. Zealot dead already is amazing for Ziki. This is probably the best hold so far, and it's a super long rush distance. So he actually turns the Zealots. He's not even going to go for it any longer.
Yeah.
This has been completely held.
This is the hard thing about Protoss being cross-mapped to the Zerg. Like, ideally, you want to go for these ramp challenges when the Protoss is close and the Zerg is cross-mapped, because obviously the speedlings can get there much faster then. In this time around, it's a lot harder to punish that. Scan, getting a second hatchery, and he's actually going to get cannons up from Lei in the natural expansion. Kind of a bit of forward thinking from this team. They want to maybe be a little bit greedy in this game and taking a relatively faster expansion for Scan, so he's not locked into a supporting role for this game.
I'm a little surprised he didn't take the hatchery down the ramp, since he's got cannons to defend. Makes it a little easier to quickly grab your gas, but he's gonna keep his buildings really tucked in tight in his main base, and we'll see how that ends up panning out for him. It's just a little bit funny to have cannons down here and no way to take advantage of that. Looks like they're planning to go after the Protoss player right now.
Ooh,
2 cannons on the ramp though. Run by. Okay, there are sunken colonies in here, but that doesn't mean that you can't lose a drone.
Minerals. Yeah, you can punish the minerals on the right as well, because that sunken not quite in range are completely exploiting that. And yeah, he will get a couple of drone kills, at least one so far. Without link speed, he probably won't get a lot done with this, but it's annoying. He's disrupting the mining time of Ziki. He actually catches a second drone. That's pretty huge. If he gets a third, that's insane. Oh my god, he gets a third drone kill. Ziki down to just 6 drones now. That's a massive pickup for Scan to do that much damage with slow link, but they're going to dive onto the Protoss now. Mutalis's already on top of that cannon. Only 2 cannons to hold. A probe drill coming online, but not much supporting. Scan is trying to get over here with some mutas to help defend, but is it going to be enough? They're already breaking the ramp, and there's enough mutas remaining for Ziki to keep the pressure online with some Zerglings as well to deny probes helping out. This might be a kill move. They're going to get the pylon on the gateway, Sam.
Yeah, they're going to get the pylon, and you can see there that Lei was actually targeting now Marines with his cannons to try and get rid of as much anti-air as possible so that the mutas can actually do something. But unfortunately for Team Red, the Nexus is going to fall, and there's no money for a future Nexus. Oof. There's no money for another base here, so but pretty much Lei is out of this game. It's now a 2v1. Is there any hope for Scan to try and win this on his own? Not if he loses all of his mutas here, but he's actually winning this fight in the air. Ziki splits his mutas and runs away. I think the only option right now is to go for the kill on the Zerg player, try to get rid of him as soon as possible, but he's immediately building spores. It's very smart from Ziki.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of position though. Scan can still exploit. He needs a second spore set up immediately. It's a little bit delayed and it's split up from the other spore. Definitely a way of punishing this. Maybe Gargoyle should be making a beeline to help his teammate to defend against that, but the Marines are out on the map. They're not in the main base of Ziki. Ziki's about to take quite a lot of damage from Scan. There's not much way of stabilizing this. 7 mutas can kill 1 spore, and the spore isn't even finished yet. It's going to shut down mining. The bio's finally going to rotate over here. Some Scourge trying to get on top of that. Do catch 2 of the mutas of Scan, actually. That's going to help out a lot for these bio units to come in here and shut this down. 2 mutas are going to be joining, so the threat is still alive. Spore is pretty low. Bio trying to get in position to defend against this. Might be able to still catch a few of the drones.
Big mistake there, losing a bunch of mutas to those Scourge. Oh my gosh, he's gonna use the last of his money to make 2 more cannons. He had 300 minerals, so close to a Nexus, but he could have actually thrown it down here if he had the money for it, but unfortunately he doesn't. And so he's just gonna build those 2 more cannons and hope that his partner can carry him. Another spore coming up right now, but the Marines are what's really gonna help out. Gonna to push these Mutalisks away and allow more drones to be made so that Ziki can still be a factor in this game, and the 2v1 is going to be very hard.
There's a lot of tempo for Scan, like maybe he can get some damage in the main base of the Terran with these Mutalisk force. I don't know how many turrets are there. He's got at least 1. Okay, he's got a lot of turrets, actually. This is going to be really tough for Scan to do a lot of damage to Gargoyle now, and he definitely needs to do that to make this 1v2 situation a lot more tenable. He's getting an expansion online, but with this many turrets, it doesn't feel good. You can't tank that many longbolt missiles and come out on top, even if you do go after SCVs here. So he's going to have to pull away from that. Has got some Zerglings making their way to Ziki. Maybe he can get a checkmate move on this. There's only 1 Sunken and Bio, so if he clears out the Bio, there's now just the Sunken that he has to overrun. He's got 3 hatchery production, so he could flood Lings to try and finish off Ziki.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that's gonna work. With the Bio in the main, like, this is such a hard base to crack now. The spores are so good. Spores are amazing. The Sunken is so well tucked, and the Bio can really get in amongst this stuff, and the drones can even help. Like, if you put the Bio right in the middle here, it doesn't disrupt the mining, and it can just be defended so perfectly. So this is a really tough nut to crack, and without cracking this base, it's super hard for Scan to end up winning this game. He's gonna give it his best go though, adding on some armor upgrades here as well for the mutas and cranking out a ton of drones. He's gonna get really big in his economy, but taking on both these players is going to be tough. He needs to get some damage now, and slowing down the science facility is a nice start.
Yeah, it's not bad. The probe coming up here to get some scouting information on the positioning of that bunker and where the Bio is at. Ziki trying to help out a little bit with just a few Scourge and mutas. Any help from Ziki is going to really secure the game for Gargoyle the longer this goes off. But Scan has a very strong fighting chance in this game. He's got the cannons defending his natural. Now he's got a gas advantage over Ziki as well. He just needs to slow down the Terran coming online, finally getting ready for a potential kill move on Ziki in the main base. He just needs to worry about this Bio Force and the 1 Sunken, and the Lings can do the rest. Bio shuffling over to the right-hand side to deny a tactical snipe on one of those spores. Lings rotating around to get on top of one of the other spores that's covering the gas and Spire. I think they'll still just barely hang on here, but there's definitely a way of trying to exploit the position of this defensive line. It's just there's not enough mutas for Scan to fully effectively do that. Oh, he gets his mutas caught by the Scourge of Ziki! There's more and more mutas showing up for Scan, but it might not matter. Now Ziki able to fight back a lot stronger in this game in support of his ally with just a few small squad of Bio doing a lot of heavy lifting, and now a massive train of Marines and medics making their way out onto the map to really establish dominance now as that science vessel is on the way. Scan's gonna have a really tough time now, taking his allies' base as a quick third. Not a bad option here for Scan, but he's gonna have a hard time in this 2v1.
Yeah, he's gonna have a really tough time. He's got 3 hatches though, and 2 gases mining. That's a lot of production, a lot of mutas. But once that vessel comes out, okay, he's actually got the vessel. Does he have the irradiate ready? There it is. The irradiate goes down in the middle of the stack. He manages to pull that out very quickly. Very good split, but only 6 mutas left. I mean, there's the same number here for Ziki. That's really tough.
Yeah. I think they've done it. Unless they make a massive blunder, I think Zeke and Gargoyle have got this in the bag now. They just have to play super solid, never make any blunders, never commit into these cannons prematurely, and just control the state of the game. And Zeke can take an expansion and slowly grow himself. They shouldn't attack the expansion of Scan here for quite some time. Those cannons are just too cost effective in dealing with the bio. It'd be better for them to just trade well with Scan. If they can identify that base in the bottom left, that would be huge. There are actually some drones transferring out, and Zeke spots the drones. So now they might be able to know about that base out on the map. Another beautiful irradiate, getting the mutless on the bottom, but Scan really adept in splitting that out. And yeah, so Scan has a chance, but it seems like Gargoyle and Zeke have got it. They're gonna go.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna go. This is a crazy move, diving on top of the cannons right now. They don't have an irradiate for the mutas at this very important moment, but it's not gonna matter. The bio is too much, and GG is called. Oh my goodness,
are you kidding me?
And Gargoyle take the series home.
This is something special, man. I mean, Scan is really good on all three races, and to be able to take him in layout like this, it's something special. Gargoyle and Zeke came in so clutch in this. There were so many close moments, especially when Gargoyle was in that 1v2 situation. He was able to barely kill off Lei in the bottom left. I mean, this whole series has been absolute insanity from start to finish. Both teams played exceptionally well. That's the kind of weird thing with 2v2. Like, the one reason why Terran's having an easier time breaking the ramp of the Protoss with less cannons being made is because they're trying to always play on a knife edge to try and optimize and min-max and be as greedy as possible. You'll see at the highest levels of 2v2, less static defense being utilized to get through to the next phase of the game, but it also does open you up to more counterplay. But I just can't say enough how good both teams have played, and I take my hat off to Zeke and Gargoyle clutching this out, man. This is no easy feat to beat Scan and Lei.
No easy feat indeed. These games were super close. A lot of them were super close. And particularly some of the Zeke and Gargoyle wins were crazy close, man. Gargoyle, the hero with that one game, just getting in there barely in time with the bio to 2v1 or 1v2, excuse me. Zeke and Lei, fantastic 2v2, man. Couldn't have asked for better. This was an awesome double series here, sent to us by SLON. And big shout out to those guys for putting on a great tournament. Looking forward to more great 2v2 in the future from them.
Yeah, Flizzardo is the guy that's organizing that SLON tournament. Really big shout out to him. He's carrying the 2v2 scene on his shoulders right now, putting a lot of his personal money and time on the line to bring you these games. And we're more than happy to help him out and cast some great games of 2v2. It's a real special side of StarCraft that we don't see in 2v2. And I'm happy that we get to showcase it a little bit here. And you guys can see just how insanely wild the series and games can be, especially when you've got some of the best 2v2 gamers on the planet going at it like this. This was something special today. So yeah, I'm really happy we had the opportunity to bring you guys these games. And we look forward to finding more opportunities to bring you more casts. We've still got a few more rounds of the SLON tournament going to be coming your way as well. I'm not so sure San can cast them. I think you're going on holiday soon, right, San? Would you know what date is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be going on holiday for the 30th through the new year. So,
are you free on the 23rd?
The 23rd I'm free, yes. So maybe we can hook that up. Maybe we can set that up.
We could do a 2v2 cast. Yes, we could probably do the semifinals or something together before you go away on holiday.
Sounds great, guys. This has been a lot of fun. Shout out to everybody who's hanging out in the live stream here on YouTube or on Twitch, and big love to everybody who's watching on YouTube later. Definitely check out a live stream, the future live stream for the 2v2, maybe on the 23rd. We'll confirm that. Definitely follow the channel. Follow us on Station Duocast on Patreon. I'll be making announcements for whatever future events that we're casting together. So Yeah, that's it. That's it. We're done. We're done. $50 to Siki and Gargoyle. 50 bones goes to Voodoo and Dexter as well. Congratulations to those guys. But we're all winners here with this 2v2. Awesome event. So many good games of Broodwar, man. So many good 2v2s. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, these teams have been really spectacular. Big shout out to Voodoo and Dexter winning that Bulgarian battle as well. Well deserved in that best of 7. But both series did not disappoint. Really back and forth and showcasing great skill and chemistry on either side. And you love to see that in 2v2. It's not just the individual skill that's important, but it's that chemistry working together as a team to accomplish mutual goals. And yeah, none of these games disappointed today.
Absolutely. All right, with that, guys, we're going to end this stream here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.